Welcome one, welcome all, back out here for the Galaxy Truck Series Racing League. This time tonight from the virtual Texas Motor Speedway, where these truckers will go 250 miles, 167 laps around this interestingly configured mile-and-a-half quad oval. Tonight, I'm actually not joined by Josh Coppernoll, the mastermind behind JCTV, but I'm actually joined by one of the Galaxy admins who also is my broadcast partner tonight, Cameron Stone. Cameron, thank you for coming into the booth with myself, Eric here, and we get to watch Josh actually try to run a truck race tonight.
Yeah, appreciate you having me in the booth. Looking forward to calling a good race tonight, getting to watch these guys go at it. It's a tough track out there. I was practicing all week, expecting to run the race, but you know, wanted to make a little bit of room for Josh to run some of these races as well. He's been in the booth most of the weeks this season, so figured give him an opportunity to get out here and get him a trophy.
Well, I'll work in a little bit here with some of your knowledge. So you're an admin for the Truck Series. We've had interviews with Ryan in the past pre-race, but I'll go ahead and pick your brain a little bit here. Do you see a lot of these truck guys making a lot of progress? Can they work their way toward the Cup Series? Is it beneficial for someone like Josh to come down and run from the Cup Series back into the Truck Series?
I think it is. I think it's pretty impressive the way some of these guys have been consistently running in the truck season. I think those guys can definitely make a case for moving up to the Cup Series next season. Guys like Chicano, Carl Felver, Craig Fryer that have shown definite speed out here running with Cup regulars as well. So, you know, Josh can come down here and hone his skills a little bit with these guys. He's been sort of a mid-packer there in the Cup Series, but you know, he can come down here and see if he can whoop up on these kids a little bit.
Well, it'll definitely be interesting to watch his progress tonight, but we're also watching the entire race here. We got three stages in this race, both actually pretty evenly spaced out, 53 laps, 52 laps, and then 62 laps to round us off for tonight's event. So, Cam, we'll go ahead and get it underway already. Who's your pick to win tonight's Cameron Caldwell Graphics 250?
Well, we have a special driver in the field tonight. He hasn't run many truck races, but he's dominated the Cup Series so far this season. 13 wins in the Cup Series. He's led the points ever since the second race of the season. Bryson Hicksonbaugh is going to be my pick to win tonight. He hasn't gotten a Truck Series win yet. It hasn't been from lack of trying, but I think he gets it done tonight.
So we see Hicksonbaugh taking some practice laps around here. Still a little bit of time remaining here in practice, and Bryson's already looking quick. He moves up to P5 on the board right there. These guys are running some pretty fast laps. Well, my pick to win tonight, Cam, is actually this guy sitting here on pit road currently. Jimmy Costarellos. I've picked him at the mile-and-a-half before, and currently he is the qualifying record holder in the Galaxy Truck Series on mile-and-a-halves. He has the fastest lap time in qualifying, so consistently fast if you look at his stats over mile-and-a-half races. So I fully expect Costarellos to be one in the mix at the end of tonight's event. But, of course, 167 laps, always a long race. Something unique and interesting, as we always mention, that you get with the Galaxy Truck Series is you get full distance racing. So if you're interested in joining the Galaxy Truck Series League, go ahead and check them out on iRacing's web league member page, as well as checking them out at the various social medias that you can find them at. But they also have the website, galaxytruckseries.weebly. I believe com is the end of that.
Yep, .com.
You can find out more information on the Galaxy Truck Series. Take the truck out, make it a cup. You can find more information on the Galaxy Cup Series that runs on Saturday nights. Tomorrow, you'll see the Galaxy Cup Series 500-mile race from Texas, playoff race number 2 in the round of 8. Or excuse me, race number 2 in the round of 8 from Texas tomorrow night on 3 Wide TV's YouTube channel that you'll find it there. So, something unique and interesting is that Josh Coppernoll, again, the mastermind behind JCTV, the guy who lets me do this each week in and week out, is actually running a race tonight. So we get to bring him in the booth and at least have a little pre-race interview, since he will be, of course, our in-race reporter for tonight's event. Josh, very excited to see you actually run one of these races. Are you thrilled? Are you happy? You feeling good about your chances tonight at Texas?
Well, I have to say, I usually don't get pre-race butterflies at all, but I kind of have some pre-race butterflies right now. I'm nervous because a lot of these guys, these truck regulars, they're here to prove that they should be in the Cup Series, and I don't want to ruin their race up, but definitely nervous for sure, but I'm pretty excited to be here at Texas Motor Speedway.
So, little different, interesting change of gears for you. Normally running the Cup Series on Saturdays. You're also the mastermind behind the entire Galaxy operation. So you decide to come down and run a Truck Series race. Is this just you want to get running in the trucks again? Is this you want to check out some of the competition down here? Maybe pull some guys to Cup? What's your goals for tonight as well as you look at 167 laps ahead here at Texas?
Goodness. Well, I just wrecked in practice there, but I'm just out here to have some fun, get another race under the belt. I don't want to really scare the competition out there in case they're listening to this, but I've not ran a truck race in iRacing since Homestead of probably November of last year, but I've definitely gotten my practice in for this race. I didn't want to hop in here blindly, but definitely going to be a change for sure for me because I am used to driving a Cup car rather than these trucks.
Now we saw you right there in practice. You just ran into our everybody's favorite chicane, Cody Bird. Is there much you feel that you could take away from this truck race and be able to use it tomorrow night?
I don't know. I mean, it's something that I ask a lot of drivers when I'm in the booth for the Cup regulars that come down in here. But the truth is, these trucks are a lot different than the Cup cars. I think with Texas kind of being a little bit unique with turns 1 and 2 being different from 3 and 4. I think a lot of the characteristics are the same. You can go full throttle in 3 and 4 for most of the run, and then you have to lift in 1 and 2 because it is a different. It's less banking in 1 and 2 than 3 and 4. So I think as far as that goes, maybe, but I'm not gonna really assume that anything that I've learned from Cup is going to transition over here to the truck or vice versa.
All right, well, Josh, we wish you the best of luck tonight. We'll hopefully catch up with you as well throughout the race since you are in race reporter, and we'll be seeing you here before too long.
Alrighty, and thank you, and good luck to you guys in the booth. Thank you, guys.
All right, Mr. Stone, that was Josh Coppernell, our in-race reporter for tonight. Looking to see a good run out of him. He doesn't get too many truck starts, so be really awesome to see him get a great run here tonight. So as we look on here at practice, see just under 5 minutes remaining here. Anyone surprising you on the board here, Cam, as far as guys, ones to watch tonight that maybe aren't our picks to win the race?
Yeah, that 46 car being at the top of the board is a little interesting to me. Jimmy Costarello's in second place. That seems pretty believable. He's had a lot of speed at the 1.5s, not just here, but also in the Cup Series as well. Nick Stein making his return. I believe he ran last week, but this will be his second consecutive start here in the Truck Series. He's fourth on the board. A little surprised to see Bryson Hixenbaugh not at the top of the board.
Well, fill us in, because unfortunately JCTV wasn't able to bring you a broadcast last week at Kansas. Some things fell through with Josh's end at the last possible moment, and unfortunately I didn't have any broadcast partners. But go ahead, Cam, you were at the race last week. Go ahead and fill us in. Who won that one?
So last week we had Carl Felver, number 99, win the race. He's run his practice lap right now is a 47.3, so I don't believe he's gotten a full lap in here. But yeah, he got his first win last week. Big moment for him. A lot of the regulars were there and had tough nights, the same that we saw in the Cup Series, where 7 of the playoff drivers actually finished outside of the top 10. So kind of the same thing we saw in the Cup race happened in the truck race. A lot of the regulars, guys high in points, did not do very well. But Felver was able to come away with the win there. Can't remember. I believe it was Craig Fryer that finished second. So both of those guys had really good nights. Hopefully they'll carry over some momentum tonight.
So it'll be interesting to see Felver, your winner last week. So No playoffs in the Galaxy Truck Series. We've mentioned that before. So anyone to watch, what are we looking at for in terms of points battles? We know Alonso Chicano secured his championship back at the Roval, but I believe there's still some guys fighting for some positions here, Cam.
Second place is pretty easily in the hands of Joseph Lester right now, barring any sort of falling apart he does here at the end of the season. He's going to be second in points, but third place is pretty close. There's a few guys down there. Prinson's one of them. Felver's in the hunt for that as well. I believe Brian Branham is also in the top 5 running for those good points there. So a lot of fight still happening for top 5 and top 10 points positions between a lot of these regulars.
Is there anything riding on these guys in their finishing positions in this first half season, as you guys have dubbed it in the Galaxy Truck Series? Anything that they're playing for besides just bragging rights?
At this point, it's mostly going to be bragging rights and to see who can pick up more victories. So with me out of the field tonight, Rich Petrucco's back in. We've won a lot of the races here in this series. So those guys are going to have to go against the Galaxy Truck Series win leader tonight. So they're going to be basically just trying to make a name for themselves and beat some of the better competition that we've seen out here. Other than points and bragging rights, these guys are also racing to, kind of get seen by some of those cup teams next year. There's a few new ones that are coming on, ready to run the 2021 season, and I'm sure a few of these guys are ready to take that next step.
Well, you mentioned it, Rich Petrucco back here in the field tonight. It'd be interesting to watch him as he goes along. He's also one of your Truck Series admins, but in this case, he's fully focused on running the race tonight. Ryan Samuelson will be your race control. Thank you to Ryan for stepping up for that. But you mentioned it, Rich Petrucco, winningest driver in the Galaxy Truck Series. 4 wins on 10 starts for him. He actually has the best average finish as well in the series of 4th. So expect Rich Petrucco to be one up front tonight. Qualifying underway, Cam. I believe we were discussing this before the broadcast started. We should see the qualifying record on 1.5 miles for the Galaxy Truck Series fall here tonight, because these guys are turning laps sub 30 seconds.
Yeah, with guys running 29.3s, 29.2s, you'd be hard-pressed to say that these guys aren't going to beat the track record here tonight. Plenty of drivers out on the track right now, as you see Bryson Hixenbaugh coming off of turn 4, ready to start his first lap. He's one of the guys, obviously you expect him to have a lot of speed, put the car up front, and run up front all night long. So we can see he's getting way down here to this apron. Not a lot of lift there. Probably full throttle here in the first lap with the grippy tires. 3 and 4 is also going to be full throttle here. So not even cracking the throttle at all in that corner. It's going to come off of turn 4. Should have himself a nice lap. Let's see what we got. 29.339. First guy on the board, 29.339.
Smashing that record that we talked about. The record was 30.35 seconds, and already Cam just mentioned the lap time of Bryson Hixenbaugh over a second better than what was the Galaxy Truck Series qualifying record. So
now with more people
speeds here at Texas.
Times, we've got Zach Probst in the 62, only 4 1,000ths off of that. So we can see if Bryson gets a little bit quicker here on lap 2, or maybe Probst can beat him. Bryson with a 3:08 on lap 2. Doesn't look like Probst got there. No, he ran a 4:18 on his second lap.
I was going to say, if Probst slower on his second lap, interesting to see Hixenbaugh goes faster on his second lap. He's pretty much the only one that I've seen that's really improved. Petrucco also improved right there in 4th. What's so unique about Texas, Cam, that these guys can run such faster lap times than compared to like Las Vegas a couple weeks ago, or even Kansas last week?
Well, I wasn't really expecting these guys to go faster here than they did at Kansas. The line at Kansas isn't quite as direct around the track. Really running the low part of the track is going to get you more loose than if you ran a little bit higher up, and that's the longer way around, so it adds a little bit more time. Here at Texas, really the preferred groove is on the white line in both corners, so you're cutting a little bit of distance off of that lap, especially on the exit of turn 2. The most grip that you're going to find is way down low, close to the apron, so you're really cutting a lot of distance off of the lap time compared to some of the other 1.5 miles. But really just, you heard it in the throttle right there with Bryson Hixenbaugh's lap. He never lifted through either corner on both laps. So the more momentum you can carry, that's why he went faster on lap 2. It doesn't seem like anybody else was able to to stay full throttle for both laps. So that's how he just gets that record there.
So we ride on board with one of the drivers you said to watch tonight for his points battle, Brian Branham. So I believe he's taking his first time lap there. We're going to swap over to the 81 of Michael Kruger here. So Kruger is a fairly new name in the truck series. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cam. This would be one interesting one to watch tonight as well.
I believe Kruger is making his third start. So he's been around, but he hasn't been here for the entire season. As far as I recall, he's just had some tough luck getting involved in accidents early in races. I know that he did that at Las Vegas. So hopefully he can get it turned around tonight. I ran a 29.887. He was faster on his second lap than he was on the first.
Oh, Campbell going for a ride. He's going to hit the pit wall. That takes out his second lap that he was on. Unfortunately for the 73, he will be shotgun on the field of guys that took time. There are a few guys choosing to not take time. We have 40 seconds remaining here in qualifying. And Cam, it appears that no other driver is on the track.
It's really interesting, the line that Anthony Campbell was taking there. Truck must have been really tight on entry for him. No, he just never really made the apex of the corner there in 3 and 4. So he's about a lane and a half up, and just adding that extra turn in there to try and get back down to the bottom is what spins him down onto pit road. So with 10 seconds left, don't believe there's anybody else on track. Bryson Hixenbaugh is going to be your pole sitter tonight. I'm definitely happy to see that. Bryson is my teammate in the Cup Series, and he's my pick to win tonight. So starting it off strong.
Well, let's go ahead. Qualifying complete. We'll go through your starting lineup here for the Cameron Caldwell Graphics 250 from the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. On pole, as Cam mentioned, Bryson Hixenbaugh with that 29.308 gets him in that top spot. Zach Probst starting second with Jimmy Costarello's third. We have Nick Stein returning in the Galaxy Series all the way up to fourth here in his return. Alonso Chicano, your champion for 2020's Galaxy half season, in fifth. Sixth for Patrick Mouchet. 7th for Brian Branham, 8th for Dan Fields, 9th for Rich Petrucco, and 10th for Joseph Lester.
In 11th place, you've got the 48 of Alan Hewitt, Craig Fryer in 12th, Ryan McDaniel, number 26, in the 13th spot, Joe Gwilt, 14th, Michael Kruger, 15th, Ashton Hartman, 16th, Carl Felver, 17th, Charlie Brown, love that name, 18th, Anthony Campbell in 19th, and Alex Princeton, your first car that did not make a time, in 20th.
Starting 21st tonight, Logan Slavosky, again, one that did not take time. 22nd for Cody Bird. 23rd for, I believe, is it Rusty Paz? I can't quite make that name out. Ricky Paz. Making, I think, his debut, right, Cam?
Yep, this is going to be the first time he's going to run here for the Truck Series.
And rounding out shotgun on our field is your JCTV mastermind, Josh Coppernell. So it'll be interesting to watch Josh come from shotgun on the field toward the front tonight. Should be an awesome one to watch. Trucks finishing gridding. We're going to get ready to get underway here. Again, 167 laps. First stage is 53 laps for these guys. So Cam, brand new racetrack for the series. They haven't run here yet in the trucks in the Galaxy Truck League. How do you approach this first stage? I'm sure since such a long race compared to what you guys normally have on mile and a halves, I'm sure these guys are looking to settle in and ride maybe a little bit here in this first stage.
It's really going to depend what you're racing for here. So if you're one of those guys that's, third, fourth in points, trying to make up something, you might try to get up towards the front, get some stage points. If you're somebody that's starting at the front, so Bryson Hixenbaugh, Zach Probst, Jimmy Costarellos, those guys are probably going to just look to keep that track position, so they'll have to run a little bit harder than guys that are just planning to settle in. But probably the smart tactic, you're correct, just settle in, get these laps through, keep the truck clean, maybe keep the tires on it just in case a caution comes out. Remember, we do have tire set limits in the Truck Series, so these guys only have 4 sets of tires in the pits to go get. So it's going to be really important for these guys to take care of those tires.
So with the fuel window being right there on the limit of the stage, I'll ask you a quick question here before we go green. Are we going to see guys making green flag pit stops here in this first or even the second stage?
You might see a few guys do it. I don't see anybody running out of fuel. There's a possibility that if you're really pushing it and you're not really in the draft with anybody else, say you're the car out front and you keep the lead the whole time, you could run out of fuel in the last couple of laps. May have to come down to pit before pit road closes with 2 to go in the stage.
Alrighty, well the pace car is off, and that releases the field into the hands of Bryson Hicksonball. Will go as soon as he sees that green flag waving in the air. There he goes. Green flag on the Cameron Caldwell Graphics 250 from the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. Hicksonball with a great jump over Probst to his outside. You're going to read Probst in the 62 truck, showing in that Matt Crafton scheme. I believe there's a little trading paints problem there. Not sure if it's on my end or if it happens on his end, but nonetheless, these guys already looking pretty single-filed out. Third place is the battle now. Chicano is taking it to Probst. Probst starting on the outside there. Cam did not work out for him. He falls 3 positions back and forth.
Loses him 2 positions there. I believe guys starting actually behind him did a little bit worse. So being on the front row still helped, but the outside line did not get going there. Hicksonball had a great jump. Costarello's now in second. Chicano made a big move down the back straightaway to get into third.
So one note there was Nick Stein missed the grid and unfortunately started from the pits, and he's already a half lap down. Meanwhile, Ricky Paz has left the raceway. I'm not sure if that was a connection issue on his end. Unfortunately, he is no longer on track as well. We see a big move there for Probst on Chicano down into turn 1. Give third place back to the 62 of Zach Probst.
Yeah, it's a guy, Chicano there. He doesn't have to worry about points. He just wants to be here for the end of the race. Really good move there for him not to press that issue too much. Here goes Probst looking to the inside of Costarellos into the quad oval. May have a good run on him here getting into 1. Stalls out a bit.
So how much lifting are these guys doing down into turn 1? I know we're super early on in the race. The tires have a lot of grip. They should be able to push it pretty hard. How much lifting do you feel like these guys are doing?
Well, Bryson Hicksonball out front, I believe he's just cracking the throttle just a little bit, get that car set good into turn 1. He has the most downforce on the track, no dirty air in front of him, so he's got probably the best grip of anybody on the track now. If you're someone further back into the middle, or if you're tucked in behind someone like Probst is right now, you're doing a little bit more lifting.
So we ride on board right here.
For you to see anybody pass a car that actually has that clean air. Kind of the same thing you deal with when you're watching, the real life truck and cup races. That dirty air really does kill your momentum.
So we watch the 146 of Charlie Brown. Again, Cam mentioned we love his name. It's not quite spelled the way you would think. He doesn't have the E on the end of Charlie. But nonetheless, he is your biggest mover so far off the start. He gained 4 positions. Make that Copper Knoll now your biggest mover. He's gone +7 in that 42 truck. Starting shotgun on the field. Josh is moving on up. Now, Cam, something I'm already noticing here is these guys aren't quite getting down to that white line. We mentioned the difference here with Texas with a little bit less banking in turns 1 and 2. Is it any sort of benefit to running up the track maybe a little bit on that end of the speedway?
Running up the track is actually going to make the car a little bit more comfortable for you. So if you're really pinning it, trying to get it down to that white line, you're going to feel a little bit more loose at the apex of the corner. So what these guys are doing, running up a little bit further up the track, they feel a little bit more in control of the truck, but they might be burning off the right front a little bit more than some guys at the front who are way down on that apron, who are probably burning up the right rear. So it's really pick your poison, whether you want to have, a really fast truck that's loose, or if you want to feel a little bit more comfortable and lose a little bit of speed. Oh, Coppernall into the wall off of turn 4 there.
He's going to drop a spot there to Alex Princeton. So let's see if we can catch that on the replay here. Again, a little bit of technical issues with the replay stuff on our end, so you're just going to see some on-the-fly replays here. We'll take a look here off turn 4 for Coppernall. We see him get up the track behind Felver, and Cam, I'm not sure if that's quite kissing it. That might have been more of a little bit of a slap.
just as I'm talking about it, running up the track, that's another thing that you're going to run into. So when your right front's wearing off, you're not going to get that turn on the exit. It's probably a little bit better to burn that right rear. And if you do hit the wall, you're going to drag it with the right rear instead of really slapping it hard like Coppernall did. You can see still losing positions. It looks like Dan Fields actually has the same kind of damage. Probably did the same thing earlier in the race.
So
But that
Dan
aero
Fields
damage is going to hurt him.
Dan Fields down 11 positions already from the start of this race. So definitely had tagged the wall at some point. Unfortunately, we weren't able to catch that on our cameras. Nick Stein's the only one that's lost more positions off the start of the race, but we documented he started from pit road and didn't take his grid position.
And we just missed a pass for the lead. Zach Probst is around Bryson Hixenbaugh to assume the lead.
So yeah, front end of our picture here, we're watching the battle for third between Costarellos and Branham, but you see that yellow truck back to the point. That is Zach Probst around Bryson Hixenbaugh for the race lead. 10 laps into tonight's 167 lap event. A lot of racing up front here early amongst these top 5, 6 trucks right now. It's pretty much like a set of tandems every here and there. Probst and Hixenbaugh, Costarellos and Branham nose to tail. Here comes Lester drafting up. Now, Cam documented previously in the Galaxy Truck Series how much the draft helps these trucks out. iRacing made some changes over the summer to improve that, but I believe just in this most recent update, even today, that they took away some of that draft effect in the truck.
It's been a little annoying to a lot of people that run, C open races and things like that, where, especially on 1.5-mile tracks, you get kind of draft locked. You can't really pull away from the cars behind you, even if you are faster. So hopefully we do see a little bit of the change that was supposed to be made today, where these guys don't get so draft locked. But looking at it right now, you could throw a blanket over the top 5 trucks. So it seems like it's still there, and it's going to be looming large all night.
Costarellos looked for the move there in 1 and 2. He didn't get it, but here comes Hixenbaugh with a strong run. He's looking at the outside of Probst. He's not going to be able to get the nose there. A little bit of contact through the quad ovals. Probst pulled down to block. Hixenbaugh pulled out to get into a different lane. Hixenbaugh is going to ride the top. Costarellos will fill that gap in behind him. So as we say, the trucks don't really seem like they're drafting too much here early on in the race. There is quite a bit of draft. Costarellos actually pushing Probst down the backstretch right here. He's going to get himself into second, and Hixenbaugh is left to fight to try to get his spot back on the bottom, potentially in third behind Costarellos.
Now, the interesting thing there is everybody watching is going to say, why would Bryson Hixenbaugh try to make that pass on the outside? Obviously, the short way around the track and the racing line in general is right there on the apron. But he's not really going to be able to do much if he's tucked in behind Zach Probst. Again, when you get to the corner and you don't have any air on the front of your car, it's just going to push like crazy, or it's going to get really loose. So really right there, he's not really trying to make a pass. He's just trying to stay alongside him in the corner, get as much downforce as possible, and hopefully get the run off the corner.
Battle for the lead ensues. Costarellos now to the point on the inside of Probst. Probst choosing to defend to the top. We'll see if he can keep enough clean air on the nose of that truck. It does not look like it. Costarellos now clear for the point. Give the lead to that 15 truck. Now Probst battling for second over Branham, who's actually making a little bit of a defensive move from, I believe, Lester looming in his mirrors behind him. You see this coming off of turn 4. This is only just a complete. As we see someone tag the wall. Chicano in the 25 tags the wall off 4. We've already seen it a couple times tonight, Cam, but it looks like that's just a case of washing out on a corner exit.
Could be a lot of things. Could just be a tight truck. Could be burning off the right front. It could be aero push coming from all those cars in front. It's really a tight corner over there off of turn 4. It looks really wide, and looks like you got a lot of room to chase the car, but you really don't. It sucks up to the wall faster than you can really anticipate it.
So Hixenbaugh beginning to make some moves again after he fell to the back of the line. You see he's got Probst out of line for third. Now that the tires are wearing a little bit, we should see some comers and goers here at the front of the field, Cam. We see Hixenbaugh starting to work his way back forward. Again, I made the point earlier about guys moving up the racetrack. We see Probst just kind of stuck in that second lane right now, but as the tires are wearing out, you mentioned the difference between maybe wearing your right front more than your right rear or vice versa. Are you going to see guys try to widen the groove? We know that the track does rubber up, mainly on the bottom.
It's interesting to see right now. You mentioned rubbering up the bottom of the racetrack. Actually, now that the cars are getting a little bit harder to drive with the tires wearing off of them, these guys are actually running closer to the apron than they were at the start of the race. And we got a caution now.
Branham.
Branham. Oh, he hangs on to it.
He was sideways as we caught a yellow. I think Hartman, potentially in the 58, has had a problem. We'll see if we can catch this back on our replay. A little bit of contact there, right there in front of Princeton. Not sure who that blue truck was.
That is
gotten him.
Wilt. So Hartman goes around on the backstretch
37.
with a little help from the 37 of Wilt.
See what happens to these guys here.
Are they coming off a pit road? I almost know they weren't.
No, Hartman looks like he was making a move around the outside. I don't know if he came down. Oh, we'll try to get one more replay of this here and see what happened.
So Hartman takes a really wide entry to 1. He was a little down the track, so probably can't put blame for that on just one guy. Hartman's way down the track from where he could be, but Gwilt's also moving up to exit that corner. So looks like a racing incident there. 2 guys going for the same real estate.
Meanwhile, pit road is very busy. Branham was your leader. He leads them down on a pit road. Cam, are we expecting 4 tires here? We know they have 4 sets of tires laying in the pits. See where the right's up on the 74. I'm looking for lefts most likely as well. Anyone you think will risk it for 2 tires potentially?
Well, being 20 laps into a run there, fast laps were 29.5s. These guys are running 30.7s there at the end, so they're already a second off the pace. I believe everybody's going to take 4. Branham gets off pit road really early, but I believe that's just a really clean 4-tire stop.
The race off pit road, Branham with the victory of that will maintain his lead when we get back to racing here. Looking down the rest of the order, some quick stop times for some guys. Princeton 8.1 seconds, Fryer was 6.3, but I think Fryer might have either missed his box or has a pit road penalty, as he's falling down the order right now. See couple different guys, excuse me, not Fryer. Who was that had the 6.3 stop? Patrick Mouchet in the 46 was the one that I was documenting there that might have had a pit road penalty.
Hicksonbot's still sitting on pit road.
Fastest 4-tire stop, Cam, looks to be belonging to the 17 of Craig Fryer. He's up 7 spots since he started the race and gains a couple on pit road right there.
Yeah, that's a really good pit stop from him. And also from Princeton. See the 71 of Lester hanging right there in 3rd place. Interesting to see Bryson Hicksonbot doesn't have any damage, but he sat there on pit road for a while. Don't know if he's dealing with some kind of hardware malfunction or trying to keep something bad from happening. But he's going to fall all the way to 18th. I believe he was running 2nd there as the caution came out.
I mean, under yellow is definitely your time to get stuff done, right? As a driver, you run in the Cup Series all the time, as we see Hicksonbot catching some of these guys. But you run in the Cup Series week in and week out. You're actually still in the playoff hunt as well, looking to continue on the wave of momentum through the round of 8. But under yellow, time sitting on pit road, especially at a larger track, maybe 1.5 miles or larger, you guys have time to get some stuff done, maybe outside the sim, right?
Oh, definitely. It's been plenty of times during the Cup season, 3.5, 4-hour races. You got to go take a bathroom break. You got to go get another drink because you've drank the whole thing and you're 350 laps into Martinsville. It's tough on you, and obviously sitting on pit road with the cars going around the track at about a 1.5-minute clip. If you hustle, you can get more done than you think.
No fire suit for guys running in the sim, even though the Galaxy Series, both the Cup and the Truck, is the most immersive, close to real life thing you can find. And unfortunately, I don't think we all have don't all have our driver fire suits that we can jump into make sure we don't have any accidents during the racing. 1 lap back to green here. Gonna restart the race with 144 laps remaining in the entire event. It'll be about just shy of halfway through this first stage. It's pretty much a mad dash here to the stage finish, right, Cam?
So we've had 20 laps on tires. You could definitely see the difference in lap times and the lines that these guys are taking. We're going to have a 30-lap run here to the end of the stage at lap 53. So a little bit farther than we've been on tires. If it goes green here, we might see, you know, a little bit more of the comer and goer effect. Some guys looking to be a little bit better on long runs.
So we'll rack them up and send them on their way here, just shy of halfway through this first stage. Branham, your leader, on the bottom. Costarellos on the outside. Branham choosing to take the bottom. That's something that the Galaxy Series allows the leader to do, is choose where they want to restart. Lester sitting there in third. Princeton in fourth on 2 tires. We'll see how he works out. Fryer with the best 4-tire stop will restart 5th. Pace truck pulls off, releases the field in the hands of Brian Branham. He's back through the restart zone and back to green. Costarellos quickly cutting down in front of Lester to keep a hold of second as these guys get up through the gears here down into 1 and 2.
A lot better restart there from the outside line. Hole opened up there for Costarellos to get into. Princeton moved down in there as well, so those guys aren't going to lose any positions. They're swapping way back in the back here. Who's back here? There's Rich Petrucco on the outside. We've got a car, on the apron, hanging onto it. That's the 73 of Campbell, who almost wadded up a bunch of race cars there in 3 and 4. But these guys keep them straight. Would have been a tough break for
leader.
Zach Probst. Just did get through that. I believe he's got a little bit of damage. So that's a tough break for him. He's got a really fast truck. Was up there in the front for that first run. See if I can find anybody else here with damage.
A little bit of field separation after that incident. Probst kind of sitting there by himself between the 2 packs. Petrucco tailing that front lead group. And then I believe the 48 of Alan Hewitt is the leader of the next pack of trucks here as we look out his rear tailgate back to the guys behind him. We saw Campbell have a moment there. He has taken the time to get himself collected back up. Still over 25 laps remaining here in this first stage. Still a little bit of time for these guys to get themselves working back toward the front.
Really solid battle here for 5th place. Petrucco looking underneath Alex Princeton. Let's see if he can get it done on the backstretch. And he's going to clear him. But now you see we've got Petrucco 5th, Princeton 6th, Probst up to 7th, Fryer still hanging there. But it looks like Petrucco's on a march to the front.
Side by side for 6th. Probst looking on the inside of Princeton. Looks like Princeton's 2 tires aren't quite paying off for him. Hopefully we'll have an opportunity to use those 2 tires he saved potentially later on in the race tonight, but he's already lost a lot of time there to Probst, and Fryer now filling up his mirrors through 3 and 4 right here. Expect Craig Fryer to get himself by. He's on 4 tires. Expect him to get by Princeton pretty easily down here into turn 1. Princeton giving up the time. He's already 4 seconds behind the lead. Now, just some 3-4 laps now post restart there.
We've got a good battle for the lead going on here. Joseph Lester all over his rear bumper. Looking to the inside, going to 3. Sorry to step on you there.
Costarellos, no worries. Costarellos made the move on Branham, got the lead. Lester filled the gap. And now Lester has moved himself to the lead through turns 3 and 4 right there, as Cam pointed out. Big move for that 71 truck. Mentioned he's 3rd right now in the Galaxy Truck Series points. Pretty solidified there, but continuing to further extend that advantage over the tie that was coming in 4th place between Princeton and I believe Brian Branham.
This is a really good showing here by Joseph Lester. He runs a lot of cup races as well, so hopefully he can get a little bit of confidence from this performance to carry into tomorrow night. Jimmy Costarellos is another guy that he's going to see tomorrow night, so we'll see how hard these guys want to go at it, knowing that they're going to have to race each other tomorrow. Branham with a big move there. I thought he was going to take him 3 wide into 3.
Oh,
So
Branham off the
inside of
apron. He's going to
Costarello.
slide. He almost slid up into Costarellos right there through 3 and 4, but gives second place now to Branham as they'll clear Costarellos down into turn 1 here. As Costarellos really wants to try to drive it in. He's going to keep the nose there, but not quite enough to manage to still challenge for position. Here comes Kruger in the 81, having not made too many starts. Big block there from Costarellos. Kruger not having made too many starts in the Galaxy Truck Series. Kind of a wild card up here, right, Cam? I mean, these guys haven't raced around him too much so far this season.
Yeah, there's not really a book on that guy yet, so these guys might be a little bit antsy with him. Might not trust him that much to begin with, but he's having a really good run tonight. Pretty veteran move there not to over pursue when Costarellos made that block.
Battle for the
Easily
lead.
could've
Here
wanted
goes
him to move
Branham. Branham moving Lester up. Lester up 3 lanes up off the line now. Is not going to hold the lead. Give the lead back to Brian Branham. And Costarellos is putting his nose in there. He wants to try to take this lead back. He's got the nose there. If he can hang on down here into turn 1, Branham's going to shut the door. Good move there from Brian Branham. Back to the lead of this race.
So Costarellos fills the hole there to take second. Now we got Kruger looking to the inside. Ooh, shutting the door. Way in there on the back bumper of Jimmy Costarellos. Lester a little high off of 4. These guys are just giving it everything.
I was going to say, this has to be some pretty aggressive racing for only 34, now 35 laps into the event. I mean, we're still about just under 20 laps from the first stage, but this has to be pretty aggressive from these top 4 going at it so hard here early.
I'm pretty surprised to see these guys really going after it for the lead this early. 20 laps away from even the first opportunity to get points. You see, Costarellos has a little bit of an interesting line coming off of turn 4. He's about a lane higher than everybody else. I'm not sure if he's doing that to save tire. I don't think it's really helping him get much run there off of turn 4, but he's doing it consistently.
How much mirror driving do you think Brian Branham is doing right now in the lead? Now that he's got the clean air, he's only got 3 trucks behind him, and then it's 4 seconds back to Probst just making a move on Petrucco for 5th. But these guys have a 4.5 second lead over the next threat. How much mirror driving does Brian Branham do in the lead?
Well, I can tell you from experience from the Las Vegas race that we had in these trucks, as Lester comes off of turn 2 there a little bit loose. Really, when you're in the lead, as draft locked as these trucks get, you know you're not going to drive away. And if your relative's showing you clear out front, you know where the track is. I was pretty much looking at the mirror the entire time, doing a lot of mirror driving. If you're not the kind of guy that likes to block, you can watch the mirror just to see, how much room do I got to give that guy? How much to my inside can he get here in this corner? So as you see,
big move from Lester.
They're at a dead heat entering turn 3 here. Kruger still looking on, trying to follow whatever hole Lester makes right here. Costarello still hanging on to this group. They're side by side at the line. Give the lap lead to Lester. Branham hanging tough on the outside, but he's going to get cleared. Lester to the point. Kruger now trying to take second. Way down the track off of turn 2. Looks like he got loose there. He's going to lose second and third. Go back to 4th.
So new driver on the point is Joseph Lester, but Brian Branham is all over his tailgate right there off of turn 4. So
and we got another battle coming right here. Costarellos looks to the inside. These guys are just going to swap until we have to throw the caution.
we're 13 laps from the stage finish, and you're seeing the racing here for the point. Absolutely all out. Costarellos gets a little bit of a push there from Branham. Branham settling into 3rd. Costarellos, we see a slow truck there on the apron. I believe that's Campbell coming to pit road. He's already 7 laps down after getting some of that damage
These
earlier
guys are
on
catching a little bit of lap
race.
traffic. Joe Wilt is out in front. So it'll be interesting to see how this pack of cars navigates around him, how much room he gives them. They're 3 wide with the lapper coming down off of turn 2. Costarello's
Oh,
pushing
Gwilt's in the
issue.
wall. Gwilt just drug the wall down the entire backstretch right there. And that's allowed Costarello's to take advantage. You think Lester got a little bit flustered with the lapper right there?
He's probably not too happy with him right now. If you could hear him in his team Discord, he's probably a little upset, but he's still right there. He can still make this happen. There's only, I believe, 11 more laps here till the end of the stage, so he's within striking distance to get those stage points. Kruger blocking down the backstretch again. Trying to get into second. Lester runs a little high up the hill. They're still side by side. Looks like Kruger's going to clear him into 1. Costarellos has pulled out a little bit of an advantage. So Lester falling all the way to the end of this group. Single file. Kruger loose off of turn 2. Branham's going to pounce, going to the inside. Nose to tail. Branham into second.
10 laps remaining here in the first stage as they cross the line. Costarello's now with a little bit of a lead. Just about half a second now over Branham, who gets himself out clear into second with Lester trailing him. Kruger, I think, might have burned up a little too much of his stuff, right, Cam? He's starting to fall off this pack just a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like he may have been a little overzealous, pushing a little too hard there. Or he just accepts that 4th place is good for him right now, and he wants to have a little bit left at the end.
While we watch this battle
Ryan
up front,
McDaniel, he's getting out of the way of the lead cars.
we watch this battle up front. Just a few housekeeping details on the rest of your top 10. Probst got by Petrucco probably about 15 laps ago in this run. Still runs 5th. Only half, maybe 3/4 of a second ahead of Petrucco in 6th. Nick Stein has worked his way up to 7th after starting from pit road. Alan Hewitt in the 48. Surprise run from him, running in the 8th position. Alex Princeton has fallen on those 2 tires back to 9th. Craig Fryer still running just behind him in 10th. The yellow is out.
We got a caution.
Issue on the
Car over
speedway.
here in turn 3. Who's that?
It looks right there on the backstretch, I believe. That might have been the 66 of Dan Field. Let's see if we can get it on the JCTV replay here. So we'll watch this 66 truck here. Cam, I'm not sure. We caught it a little late right there, but I'm not sure if that was loose off turn 2 or what.
Looks like he's loose off of 2 there, just overcorrects it, and just slams the outside wall. Yeah, just a little overcorrection there of being loose off of turn 2. So no other cars involved. Everybody missed him.
So see, I think he may have gotten just a little too high. He just kind of drove a power slide right there out of 2, but slams the outside wall really hard. Slams the inside wall even harder, and he almost caught the 54 of Cody
Really
Bird.
close call for Cody right there. Ashton Hartman almost got in there as well.
Damn, wow. Cody Bird barely, I think he got lucky with the way Dan Fields was spinning right there.
That'd be an interesting guy to talk to about that after the race. So we see the lucky dog here. Ryan McDaniel with 26.
Pit road. Branham making a stop. Costarellos choosing to stay out. I believe this lines up a pretty short shootout here at the end of stage 1, okay?
Yeah, so we had the caution come out there. 7 laps to go. So within 5 laps, we would call that the end of the stage. So we are going to have a short shootout here to the end, probably 4 laps, if I had to guess, to the end of the stage. So probably a smart move for these guys to stay out, try to get the stage points, not take that set of tires. But you got a
So we
guy
saw a
like
couple
Branham
guys-
goes ahead, gets down there. So the advantage for Branham is now when these guys come down to pit after the stage, he doesn't have to pit. So he's just going to assume the lead with probably 3-lap old tires.
Pretty split strategy here, looking at it. The top 10 choosing to stay out under this yellow for potentially stage points here. If everything stays status quo as the way they're restarting, those 10 drivers that stayed out will earn their stage points in tonight's event. Branham's going to restart 11th, so he's in prime position to take advantage of these new tires here, maybe get some stage points. We see Charlie Brown now, Cody Bird coming down pit road, so they're bailing on the strategy, looking to get their tires now before the end of stage 1. McDaniel as well. I believe McDaniel was the lucky dog, so he'll get the opportunity to pit right there. So your top 9 choosing to stay out on old tires. Top 8 choosing to stay out. Branham in 9th will be their first on fresh tires, followed by Probst, Princeton in the 9. The 17 of Fryer, the 63 of Hicksonbaugh, the 25 of Chicano, and then we saw Felver making a stop there as well, and then coming off pit road, Cody Bird, Charlie Brown, and Ryan McDaniel will start tail end as the lucky dog. Cam, you mentioned about a 3 or 4 lap shootout here to the end of stage 1. We're going to see these guys go crazy for some stage points. It is only stage 1 with well over 100 laps remaining in this race.
You might see some really overly aggressive driving right here. You got guys that are really hungry that are going to be going for those points. Joseph Lester is one of them. Let's see where Zach Probst is probably going to be pretty aggressive here. A lot of these guys up front, though, aside from Lester, don't have a lot of the points battle in their head. Petrucco can't run for points here in the Truck Series since he's a Cup regular. Caution.
As a team owner, though, for Rich, he does have the opportunity to take away some stage points from some guys that his drivers might be competing with in this series, correct?
That would be correct. So, you know, if they're playing the big brain strategy, he could definitely get up here in a second, take some stage points away from guys, and help his boys out a little bit. Costarellos is in that camp as well, so not surprising to see both of those guys have really good speed here tonight. Petrucco actually has a little bit of damage to the right front. Don't know if that's from him slapping the wall, as we've seen a lot of other guys doing.
So get ready to rack them here for the restart. Looks to be, we'll be restarting on lap 51, so 3-lap shootout here to the end of stage 1. When these guys get back going green, the lights are off on that iRacing Mustang pace car out front. Costarellos choosing the bottom to restart from here. Lester to his outside. Kruger following suit there in 3rd. Petrucco 4th. 5th for this restart will be that 8 truck of Nick Stein in the 15 of Alan Hewitt in 6th. Pace car peels off of turn 4 down onto pit road. Costarellos with a huge jump to get him restarted here. 3 laps remaining here in this first stage. We'll see Jimmy Costarellos pull out to a large gap down here by the time they reach turn 1.
Yeah, Jimmy caught him napping there on the restart, and Joseph Lester spun the tires a little bit, was able to gather it up, fill that hole, and keep 2nd place. I'm not sure that these guys have enough time to draft up to him, but we'll see. They're 3 wide, a little bit further back there. That's Princeton making a big move there on the inside into turn 3. But I stand corrected. Joseph Lester pulls up within half a truck length there. Costarellos keeping the lead. Lester pressuring. Looking to the inside. He can get up on his... He can get right on the bumper here and take a little air off of Costarellos' car, get him loose. Takes the lead clean, sending it into turn 3. So give the lead to Costarellos. Come to the white flag for the stage.
1 lap remaining here in stage 1. Jimmy Costarellos making a big move. Lester's gonna block him down into turn 1. We'll see if Costarello's bump sends Lester at all. It doesn't appear. Sideways
gets
is
into
Branham.
Big wreck.
That's going to be a yellow. That's going to end the first stage. The 8 of Stein around. The 27 of Petrucco. The 74 Branham. Oh, someone avoiding the wreck right there. Ended up in the outside wall as well. Not sure who that was. That might have been the 54 of Cody Bird. We'll take a moment to unpack this all. But your stage winner. We saw the fireworks that Cam alluded to. Joseph Lester, your stage 1 winner over Jimmy Costarellos in second. Third for Michael Kruger. Princeton will bring it in 4th across this first stage. Fryer in 5th. Hixenbaugh 6th. Charlie Brown in 7th. Carl Felver in the 99 8th. Zach Probst in the 62 in 9th. And Alonso Chicano is the last one to earn a stage point tonight. We'll unpack this incident as these guys. We'll see guys that stayed out come down pit road, but let's go ahead and cam and see if we can unpack what just happened right there on that restart wreck.
So from what I'm looking at, we've got Branham on the new tires. Coming around on the outside of Petrucco. Petrucco just washes up a bit. I'm not sure if it's from the arrow of the car being right next to him. That would make sense. Looks like Petrucco, gets loose from the car being to his outside. Tags Branham. And just everybody else has nowhere to go there.
Oh, who was that? The 48. I think it's the 18, or no, excuse me. Yeah, the 48 of Alan Hewitt got absolutely smashed sideways through that wreck. So we see him avoid it here. Let's go ahead and rewind this and run on board maybe with driver we saw have a moment there in this incident. Cody Bird will ride on board with here as he heads off into turn 1. The incident will be ahead of him. Oh, the yellow's out already. I'm not sure what happened to Cody Bird then. Seems like he reset his truck through the incident. Oh, Branham pulls up in front of him. That's unfortunate for the 54.
Wow. Yeah, it's not good. Got a guy locked him up there, and Cody sees a gap. He's just gonna roll on through there.
On board with Branham here. He gets pitched sideways. He ends up coming down the track. He catches Petrucco in the right rear and turns him back up the track in front of the field, and it just absolutely is on from there. Felver. Oh, Charlie Brown went through there like a madman.
That was almost a really good save there by Branham. If Petrucco's truck hadn't been to the inside, I believe he saves it, because he pitched that thing way out sideways and was just about to bring her back.
Oh, Charlie Brown. What an amazing wreck avoidance there on the backstretch for that 146 truck.
So from viewing the replay, seems like the truck's most hurt here. Branham actually comes out pretty good on this deal. Doesn't get a lot of damage. Most of his damage actually comes from Cody Bird. Right there at the end. So
wrapping up stage 1 there.
Alan Hewitt.
A lot of guys.
Princeton. No, not Princeton. Who's in the 8? Hard to keep these guys straight. Nick Stein, really unlucky. Fryer gets through there.
A lot of guys with damage. We're going to go ahead and bring in our stage winner, Joseph Lester. Cam, I believe you've caught up with that 71 truck.
What's up?
Hey, Joe, stage winner. How's it feel to get I believe that's your first stage win here in the trucks?
Yeah, first stage win in any Galaxy Series. It feels pretty nice.
So, saw a really good battle between you and Jimmy Costarellos, Brian Branham there. Can you take us through some of that battle and what you guys are doing in the trucks to try to get each other a little bit off your game?
Yeah, most of it's just the draft's so strong. Once you get the lead, it's hard to pull away. And our sets are so even that there's just not a chance to get away.
So we saw really close battle there coming to the caution flag off of the backstretch. Did you know you had it right there when the caution came out?
Yeah, I was looking right, and I got loose out of the corner, and I was so scared that he was going to have the momentum when the caution came out.
All right, so moving on into stage 2, you think you got what it takes to bring home the big trophy here at the end of the night?
Yeah, I think I had one of the strongest cars this race, and it didn't seem to fall off that much on the long run like usual, so it should be good.
All right, well, good job there in stage 1. Good luck to you for the rest of the night. We'll be watching. Give us a good show there.
Yeah, thank you.
So Cam getting a chance to catch up with our stage winner there. Pace car's off and already ready to go here for stage 2. These guys running to lap 105, just 52 laps in this stage. Princeton, your leader, gets a nice little jump there over Fryer in the 17. We watched Lester sitting there in 6th. Your stage 1 winner was not the first one off pit road. Carl Felver right there to his inside, beat him off pit road right there. Felver, the first one on the freshest tires in this field now. And as I say that, Fryer to the lead.
Sorry about that. I was trying to catch up with the replay. I was a little far behind there. So we got the 17 in the lead. Bryson Hicksonbaugh up here in 2nd place, looking to the inside, trying to take the lead away from Craig. So Hicksonbaugh appears to be one of those guys that really benefited from that short run to the finish with pit strategy. Gets way up here to the front. So a pretty familiar position for him. He started the race out here in the front. Wasn't able to pull away, as we heard Joseph Lester say. Hard for you to pull away. The draft is really strong in these trucks, as we talked about earlier. But Bryson pulling out a big advantage. The best thing he could see out of his rearview mirror is the 71 and the 17 still fighting. Costarello's taking a peek to the inside.
Same move, Costarellos up to 3rd now ahead of Craig Fryer. Fryer booted out to the outside. He's going to lose a spot to Kruger here through 1 and 2 as well, as Michael Kruger gets down to the inside of that 17 machine. Probst has worked his way back up into the fray up here in 6th, just tailing off the end. We see Princeton riding 7th, Felver in 8th. Fryer still stuck on the outside. I mean, it almost looks like Daytona Talladega a little bit. If you get suckered out in the line that does not have the trucks, Cam, you are going backward.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot like restrictor plate racing. Really on throttle most of the lap, at least early on. Staying in the draft, you want to be in the line with the most cars. Now that could change here a little bit. The longer run we get in, longest run we've had tonight's about 24 laps, I believe was that 2nd stint. So maybe if you see these guys get 35, 40 laps on a set of tires, this changes a little bit. But for now, you can just throw a blanket over these cars. Most of the usual suspects are up here running together. Costarellos, Kruger, Lester, throw Zach Probst in there, Princeton. Looks like we've got the 99, last week's winner, up here as well.
See a lot of guys defending the bottom there, Cam. Does that shallower entry, especially with turn 1, less banking, feels like it's a little tighter of a radius. Does that shallow entry hurt these guys early on in this run? Do they lose some tire life that they won't have on the long run?
Shallow entry is just going to basically lead to you having to put more wheel in it in the center of the corner. So putting in more wheel is going to burn the right front. It's also going to pitch the car sideways a little bit. So it's really long run, not the best strategy to use, but with the trucks being as close together as they are, and you really needing to be right in the draft of somebody else, you just got to do what you got to do right now and not really worry too much about what the tires are doing.
We see the battle for 5th going on here between Probst and Fryer. Probst looking to the outside. The 17 is going to maintain here off into turn 1. Closest battle on track right now. Cam, I know you picked him to win the race. Looking like the leader up here starting to check out just a little bit.
Yeah, it's what he usually does. He usually doesn't wait this long to do it. Not sure if that was by strategy. He may have had a little bit of a PC issue. He tends to have those at some of these larger tracks. Maybe that's what he was doing there on pit road, turning down some of his graphics settings. May have had a little bit of screen tearing going on, but for now it seems that everything has evened out for him, and he's assumed his usual position at the front of the field. So if he can keep this gap and not let these guys draft up to him, assuming it stays green, he's going to be a pretty tough guy to catch here for stage 2.
See the battle still on for 5th. Probst peeking his nose in under the 17 of Fryer. He's actually going to root the 17 up out of his lane. The 46 slides up, almost catches Craig in the left rear there through 1 and 2. Craig's going to hang on to 6. Patrick really trying to make a move there for 6, but he's not going to be able to hang on. He'll fall to 7th again and lose a little bit of ground, then he'll have to make back up. Lester is hounding Jimmy Costarellos here. He goes for the move in the 71 truck underneath the 15.
So these guys are going for 2nd here. And just does clear him. Oh, and the run off the corner. Costarellos. Oh, wow. Lester closes the door there.
There was a lot of movement there between those two trucks.
Seems like Costarellos is actually just he doesn't want to be side by side with Lester. Doesn't want to be side by side with Kruger. He's actually trying to talk Lester into just drafting with him. He wants to catch up to the 63 of Hixenbaugh. So he's playing a little bit of the draft game here.
Are you listening to the scanner, or are you hearing what these guys are saying as we go along? Any complaints on the radio?
Well, other than the caution to end stage 2, it's been pretty quiet out there. That was the first thing I've heard in this stage, was just Costarello saying he doesn't want to be side by side. He's not trying to pass Lester right now. He really just wants all these guys right here from 2nd on back to 6th to get in a line, chase down that 63, and don't let him get away.
Gap was 1.2 seconds between Hixenbaugh and Costarellos at the time. Now Lester's made the pass. The gap's already cut itself in half. 6/10, now 7/10 of a second between these front two, so Lester is reeling in Hixenbaugh slowly. Last lap, he was a 10th quicker. It's been pretty consistently a 10th quicker than your leader. And we'll see if that 71 there. We'll see if that 71 can close that gap. It is now 6/10 and looking closer toward 5.
So it seems that Jimmy's plan's working out. These guys seem to have settled out a little bit more, not really taking every run that they get on each other to make passes, and just methodically catching him a little bit every lap.
How different do these trucks feel from what you see or what you experience in the Cup car? I mean, you talk about taking runs that you get. We know with the Cup car and the big spoiler on the rear end of those cars. Whoa, Lester sideways. Costarellos sucking up to the back bumper, actually sucked the 71 around right there off of turn 2. You see the battle now. Costarellos is going to take it to Lester around the outside, gives 2nd back to the 15 truck, and Lester's starting to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, look there, like Costarellos just took a lot of air off the 71, got him real loose, and now, you know, you got Costarellos who's behind you, basically trying to coach everyone to try and stay in line and catch the 63. Don't expect Zach Probst and Michael Kruger to follow into that game, so Lester might have his hands full here if he doesn't gather it up.
Probst from the back of this pack after making the pass on Fryer, now up into 4th. He makes the pass on Michael Kruger. Craig Fryer right there in the top of our picture just got by Michael Kruger as well. We'll see what these guys think Probst says, no, we're not going to draft up right now. He's going to look to take the position on the 71 of Lester. So back to my question I was getting ready to ask there before the little bit of action happened right there off of turn 2, Cam. You run in the Cup Series regularly. You're a playoff driver. How much different is the Cup car to the truck, especially at a mile and a half like this, in terms of drafting, getting runs? We know the Cup car has the high downforce, low horsepower package, but the trucks, it's kind of the same everywhere they go.
Yeah, so really the main difference between the two is just speed. So these trucks are actually pretty close in speed this week, and on a lot of the mile and a halves to the Cup car with the low downforce package, tapered spacer, that whole package that we've been bringing to those races. So in the Cup car, you're probably looking at mid 180s down to about 160 in the corner. With these guys, you're actually going to see them get right at 180 down the front stretch, down to about the same speed in the corner. So this week, you're going to see about the same speed out of the Cup cars as the trucks. But downforce-wise, these trucks make probably a little bit less downforce than the Cup cars do. So meaning in the corner, you're going to feel a little bit more weightlessness. It's going to trend to be a little bit more loose depending on the way you set it up. And from what I've noticed, as we see Lester really slap the wall there off of turn 4, what I noticed the most is that the trucks are more affected by other trucks being around them than the Cup cars are.
So as we see Lester have his issue there, Kruger's also fallen away. I wonder if these two may have slapped the wall at all, or if Kruger's just not having the handling that he needs under that truck. But we saw Lester slap the wall, so that could be the reason he's falling away from the pack. Now just 3 drivers looking to chase down your leader, Bryson Hixenbaugh. Costarellos in the 15, the 62 of Zach Probst, again showing the 88 in the paint scheme there, and the 17 of Craig Fryer. These 3 drivers are really looking to get up toward your leader now. They're still sitting. The gap went from 1.2 seconds down to 0.6 of a second, has opened itself back up to 1.2, now 1.3 seconds. Hixenbaugh starting to click off some pretty good laps on 7-lap older tires than the rest of these guys, Cam.
You can't really rule out the possibility that Bryson Hixenbaugh has made some big changes to that truck. Guy's a mastermind. He's won so many Cup races, and those are much longer races than what we see here in the Truck Series. So he's really got a knack for knowing what his car needs as the track changes temperature-wise, the track getting rubbered up. So he really knows how to change that car throughout the course of a race. So he might actually just have the better truck at this point, making the right adjustments.
So halfway through stage number 2 here at the virtual Texas Motor Speedway for the Cameron Caldwell Graphics 250 here in the Galaxy Truck Series. Let's do a little through the field here on JCTV. We'll let Cam, I'll let you lead it off here and highlight your Cup Series teammate and this driver out front, the 63 of Bryson Hixenbaugh.
So Bryson started from the pole tonight, led probably the first 9 laps before he was overtaken. Didn't really press the issue too much. He mixed it up with those guys, but didn't put himself in a bad situation. Fell back after a really long pit stop. Just kind of sat at the end of pit road, went to the rear of the field. Took his time coming through there, missed the big accident at the end of stage 2. Now he finds himself in the lead, pulling away. He's the first guy that's been able to pull away tonight, so we'll see how he's going to navigate this traffic, see if he can stay up front for the rest of this 250 miles.
We take a look at the 15 of Jimmy Costarellos. My pick to win tonight's race. Fitting that the 2 picks that we picked tonight, Cam, are running 1-2 currently. Hixenbaugh has the advantage over Costarellos. He's really starting to open it up over him right now, though. Costarellos some 3 seconds slower that last lap than the driver of the 63. Costarellos having himself a good night, but still a little bit of ground to make up.
Looking back to 3rd place here, we got Zach Probst, who's having a really good race. Seems to have a really good short run car. Loses a little bit, as you see him here, in a battle with Craig Fryer for the 3rd spot. Seems like he loses a little bit, doesn't have the best long run car. maybe needs to make a few adjustments to that one to keep him up here on the podium positions. But definitely a really good run for him. He's had some aggressive moments, and he's had some really smart moments. So really excited to see what he can put together for the rest of this race. See if he can carry some momentum into tomorrow, as he's one of those guys that's trying to move on to the round of 4 in the Cup playoffs.
Highlight the driver that just made the pass on him, the 17 of Craig Fryer. Really starting to show some strengths here in the Galaxy Truck Series on the 1.5 miles. He had a second place finish back at Las Vegas, and he's just trying to ride that wave of momentum that he's got going on. He's moved himself up to 3rd, still 2.8 seconds off of your leader, but 2.8 seconds after 40 laps on these tires is pretty good for this 17 truck. Look for Craig Fryer to be one to mix it up here as we head on toward the end of the race this evening.
Rounding out your top 5, I kind of expected to be talking about Joseph Lester or Michael Kruger here, but having a quietly good night is Alonso Chicano. Started a little deep in the field, had a little trouble there early in the race when he got into the wall off of turn 4. We've seen a lot of guys do that tonight. Doesn't seem that the damage is hurting him too much. Looks to have a pretty decent long run set. Probably not pushing the issue too much. Just wants to be around for the end of the race. He's already locked in as the champion of the series. Doesn't have to do much for points. So running here in the top 5, seems to have a pretty good long run car. Does come out of the same shop as that 63 that's leading the race. So not surprised to see those two really coming to life here as the tires get old.
We'll load to 6th place, just stalking behind him is the 81 of Michael Kruger. Kruger really, as Cam talked about at the top of the broadcast, doesn't really have a book to him yet. Hasn't run too many of these races here in the Galaxy Truck Series. These guys don't have quite the read on him, but nonetheless, he's showing a lot of strength here on the 1.5 miles. Maybe 1 or 2 missteps as Chicano sideways right there. He's going to hang on to it. What a save from that 25 truck as he caught the apron there to round it out on Michael Kruger. Just showing his strengths here on a 1.5 miles, showing that he can belong here in the Galaxy Truck Series. And he takes advantage of Alonso Chicano's mistake right there and moves up to 5th place.
Well, he was 7th just a second ago, now running 6th. Really good job there by Alex Princeton and Joseph Lester to not run all over top of each other and cause a bigger incident. Princeton, another guy who runs a lot of Cup races, kind of new to the league. Really having a good night. He showed a lot of promise here in the Truck Series. So he might be getting some looks from newer Cup organizations joining for the 2021 Galaxy Cup Series as he makes a move here. Not sure if that was just him being loose or really making an aggressive move as Kruger shuts the door on him. But Princeton's definitely a guy that's got a lot of potential here in the league. Kruger loose again. He's just going to let him go now. So Princeton moves into the top 5.
Stalking this battle, getting right back into it after having the hiccup behind Chicano. Joseph Lester in the 71, seeing him up front. He actually was your Stage 1 winner in tonight's event, closing in on here, 15 to go in Stage 2. And Lester hasn't really recovered ever since he had the slap of the wall off turn 4 early on in this stage. Is kind of settled right here behind Princeton and Kruger. Not really able to make up too much ground on these guys. So currently 7th. Look for the 71 to make some adjustments here on this final stop, or stage break, excuse me. Get a little bit of damage repair and be back up there toward the front when it's all said and done.
Let's see. We find Carl Felver, last week's winner, back in 9th place. Long way from Carl Felver to Alonso Chicano in 8th. So Felver just racing here with Alan Hewitt for the 9th position. So I was really excited last week to get that first win in the Galaxy Truck Series. I was looking forward to his race here tonight, see what kind of 1.5 package he could bring here. Doesn't seem to really be agreeing with this track. It's got a little bit of damage on the right front. I believe he was involved in that incident that ended the stage. Really interesting to see the 48 still having a little bit of speed out here. So it seems from 8th back, we've got guys that've got a little bit more damage to the cars. Aren't going to really have the speed, may not factor into the end of this race very much. But they're still out here trying to get those points.
Running 10th now, taking 9th from Carl Felver is the 48 of Alan Hewitt. I talked about him in that big incident there to end stage 1. Hewitt got absolutely slammed in the driver's side door. He spun around sideways, but he was able to get the damage repair. You see a little bit of damage there, still in the rear. But nonetheless, still trucking, pun intended, here in 9th place, getting the pass on Carl Felver, some 21 seconds off the lead. But nonetheless, Alan Hewitt having a great night, running top 10 here in the Galaxy Truck Series, something that he hasn't done too much down here in the Truck Series. We've seen him in the Cup Series have a little bit of luck, but the Trucks hasn't made too many starts, but nonetheless making some pretty good runs. Cam, I don't know if you noticed it right there in the background, but I think Carl Felver just had a moment.
Yeah, Felver seemed to come off of turn 2 there. Didn't have much turn in the car. Didn't look like he got loose. That just looks like a massive push coming off of turn 2. He gets into that wall again, adds a little bit more damage to that right side, so that's not going to help him. Speaking of damage, I think Alan Hewitt needs to pay the crew a little bit more. I don't know how they got that car to have any speed in it after as hard as he got hit in that accident, but he's marching on around the track here. As we see,
So back up front, Craig Fryer's closed the gap on Jimmy Costarellis a little bit now. Fryer worked his way back past Probst. Now he sets his sights on the 15. These guys are about 4.5 seconds back from your leader, Hicksonball, with just under 10 laps remaining here in stage 2. You see these 3 trucks, pretty much the closest battle we got on track, besides maybe the group of 4 behind that has Prince and Chicano, Kruger, and Lester we saw earlier as we were going through the field. But Fryer's starting to size up a move here on Jimmy Costarellis.
speaking of the battle a little bit further behind, Chicano is actually looking to the inside of Princeton. Princeton's going to let him go on by. So move Chicano into 5th place. Not sure what happened to Chicano earlier. Looks like he just got loose there, trying to get to the bottom in turn 3. May have actually caught the apron a little bit as well. So it seems, as I said a little while ago, the older these tires get, the less we might see that draft. The more we see these guys spread out. So as it seems, Bryson Hicksonbaugh has the best long run truck on the track. And
It's got to be an interesting strategy call here.
There's a couple of guys coming onto pit road.
This has to be an interesting strategy call here from the 9. We see Alex Princeton on pit road here. Carl Felver stays out, I believe, only in the 9 of Princeton, and the 146 of Charlie Brown goes down pit road.
Hicksonbaugh's on pit road as well. So Hicksonbaugh relinquishes the lead to come down pit road.
You know what, Cam? These guys were ones that pitted under that yellow before the end of stage 1. I wonder if they don't have enough fuel to make it here to the end of stage 2.
It's entirely possible that these guys have to make this stop, that this isn't really a strategy call. Really thinking with the lead Bryson Hicksonbaugh had, he might have been able to stretch the fuel. But, 3-4 laps, that would be almost 6 miles. That's a lot to save when you're trying to still keep track position out here. So, let's see, we get Hicksonbaugh coming off pit road. Looks like he's going to stay on the lead lap.
He's the first driver scored 1 lap down here on my timing and scoring. He's got to hustle up, though, because he's a little bit behind the leader crossing the line now. The leader now, Costarellos, inheriting the lead. Craig Fryer, another one that stopped prior to the conclusion of stage 1, just hit pit road himself. So these guys, unfortunate strategy call, sees him coming down pit road right here before the end of stage 2 under green. And this basically just hands the stage race over to Costarellos and Zach Probst.
Yeah, Costarellos pulled out a little bit of an advantage over Probst. So it seems Costarellos almost got that stage 1 win. Looks like he's going to cruise to stage 2. Let's see. We got Gwilt. Gwilt's 1 lap down. He's actually in front of Bryson Hixenbaugh, so he's in the lucky dog position right now. So as...
Oh, Costarellos.
That was interesting.
Getting right up in behind Carl Felver. Puts Felver 1 lap down. Allows
So here on the
Probst to
final
close the
lap-
gap a little bit.
So Felver now, lucky dog position. Bryson Hixenbaugh is just going to sit and watch as Carl Felver. Oh, he's going to send it in there, try to get this lucky dog spot. This is
He's
the
gonna
race
get
to
it.
get back on the lead lap, and he gets it, just clears it.
Stage
Big move
win
there in the
goes
last
to the
corner.
15 of Jimmy Costarellos. You saw it there in our picture. Cam called it. Bryson Hixenbaugh able to get himself into the lucky dog position, will get back on the lead lap. So having dominated most of stage 2, unfortunately having to make a pit stop there at the end as the yellow comes out for the stage. Still gets himself
Now,
back in
unless
to be able to
I'm
get back around to the
crazy-
lucky dog.
Unless I'm crazy, I do believe the 99 of Carl Felver ran out of fuel entering turn 3. He's slow on the inside. He's actually gonna tow that thing there on the back straightaway. So yeah, I believe he ran out of fuel, loses that lucky dog spot.
Interesting scenes. I wonder how close the rest of the field is on fuel then, because Felver was actually 1 lap better than Costarellos and Probst in terms of what he had in the truck. So potentially we saw the gap opening up so much between Hixenbaugh and Costarellos. Maybe Costarellos is fuel saving a little bit here. Cleaning up your stage 2 finish. Costarellos, your stage 2 winner over Zach Probst. Alonso Chicano 3rd. Lester 4th. Kruger up to 5th. Falling to 6th was Carl Felver. Ended up being Bryson Hixenbaugh in 6th. Gwilt in 7th. I believe Felver came across the line 8th, with Hewitt coming across in 9th, and Fryer, I think, was 10th. We'll have to see if we can get that cleaned up post-race here, but we'll see these lead lap trucks come on down pit road. Cam, I'm pretty sure it's an easy 4-tire stop for these guys as they all file down pit road.
Yeah, after as long as they ran, these guys are definitely going to duck down and take 4 tires. It's going to be interesting to see. Bryson Hixenbaugh is going to take the wave around right here as the lucky dog. It's going to be interesting to see if he makes it back around the pit road and ducks in. Only has about 3 laps on these tires. Remember, once you take them off, you can't put them back on. So he's probably going to stick with these and expect to see green flag pit stops if we do go green here in this last stage.
Last stage lining up. Currently 60 laps remaining in the race. Should be just shy of that when we get the green flag once again. Gonna dial up our stage 2 winner. Had it kind of handed to him, but stage win is a stage win. Jimmy Costarellos, this is Eric Wineland in the JCTV booth. You got a copy, sir?
10 for you, sir.
Well, Jimmy, we saw basically this wild stage finish in terms of strategy. I want to know, first off, how close were you on fuel there to come out to the end of the stage 2?
I actually had 0.2 gallons, and I got, I think, one more lap, it said, as soon as I came to the checker, so that was pretty close. I almost didn't make it to my pits, actually.
So we saw a lot of fighting going on throughout the early portion of that stage. How much of it was trying to figure out where you wanted to settle in versus picking and choosing your battles with the drivers around you, Joseph Lester, Zach Probst, to try to catch Bryson Hixenbaugh?
Man, to be honest with you, it's really tough because I knew I was faster than the other guys, but the draft is just so strong here. What we really needed to do was just tuck in behind each other and just catch Bryson, because we were tracking him down. I know I was, but as soon as we started getting a little bit dicey with each other, that's when he started pulling away again. Fortunately for his strategy, it worked out for us on the stage win, so that's pretty exciting.
So another stage win in the books in the Galaxy Truck Series. Now you look forward to this final stage and the race win. Gonna get the restart here with about 58, 57 laps to go. I believe if we stay green, we got a green flag pit stop lined up here. How much are you guys going to be looking to push here in this final stage?
To be honest with you, I haven't even thought that far yet. I was just hoping to make it to my pit box right there, so I think I'm going to go back with the team and we're going to discuss a little bit, and we'll know in about 10-15 laps where we're at.
Alrighty, well that is the driver of the number 15 truck, your Stage 2 winner, Jimmy Costarello, is having a moment here to be able to join us. Thank you, Jimmy. We'll hopefully be catching up with you later on in tonight's event.
Thanks, Eric.
So, Rich, that was a pretty confident driver of that 15 truck. But only thinking in the short term, not really thinking too far ahead. I imagine that strategy talk now in Team SPR with Costarellos, Petrucco, and Gwilt should be a pretty interesting conversation.
Something interesting to note there. He did kind of say that he did have to save a little bit, so that could have actually lent itself to the big gap that Bryson Hixenbaugh was able to build. As Hixenbaugh had to come down pit road, he was about to run out of gas, so he had to come down. So maybe Hixenbaugh's not quite as fast as we think he is.
Saw a couple guys get the wave around right there. Looks like Fryer and Princeton waving back around. That'll put 7th and 8th place back on the lead lap. But those guys are in a pretty dire fuel situation at this point. Though, at this point, looking pretty much like everyone has to make one stop here in this final stage. Gonna go green with 57 laps remaining here in tonight's Cameron Caldwell Graphics 250 from the virtual Texas Motor Speedway for the Galaxy Truck Series Racing League. Zach Probst cycling to the lead through pit stops right there. Had a much better stop than Costarellos. We know Costarellos is basically on fumes as he pulled into his pit stall. I imagine some of these guys behind him were the same way. Costarellos will flank him to the outside. Chicano sitting there in 3rd. Kruger back up to 4th. Lester back to 5th. 6th place is actually not that white truck on the outside there, but actually Bryson Hixenbaugh, who took the lucky dog there. I'll line up about mid-pack on the bottom there. A couple lap trucks between him and your top 5. The iRacing pace car down and away onto pit road. Releases the field into the hands of Zach Probst. He will get on the loud pedal. Back to green flag racing here in the final stage. Start of stage 3 here in the CCG 250 at Texas, in a pretty clean getaway for Zach Probst as he leads Costarellos down through 1 and 2.
57 laps to the end of this race. We just had a stage that went about 50 laps, and we got the 48.
Spinning in the back.
It's going to stay to the inside. I don't believe a caution is going to come out here. So we stay green. So like I was mentioning there before, we saw Hewitt get a little loose air off at 2 and pound the inside wall. These guys ran about 50 laps on that last stage. And it seemed that the guys that actually did save still almost didn't have enough. So with another 7 laps, I don't think there's anyone crazy enough to try it. Maybe some folks that shortstop this. Maybe a few guys that run a little bit long expecting to get a caution. Out of all the cars on track, I believe Bryson Hixenbaugh does have the most fuel, as he came down to make a fuel-only stop after taking his Lucky Dog pass. As we see Probst pulling a little bit away, about 2 truck lengths here over Jimmy Costarellos. Kruger back to 3rd.
Pass for 5th going on here. We watch Hixenbaugh working the top side over the 71 of Lester. I'm not sure that pit crew got all that damage fixed on the 71, or it was just enough of permanent damage that Joseph won't be able to get fixed the rest of the race. Give 5th place now to Hixenbaugh. You mentioned he's 1 lap better on fuel than the rest of these guys. But as he said, I don't know that these guys will be able to save enough. And it looks like these top 6 are pretty much going all out. There looks to be no fuel saving, at least in these front 6.
It's going to be interesting to see what these guys try to do with this last stage. So you basically have three strategies to go over. It's you stay out, hoping for a caution after everyone else pits, and you either lap the field and don't have to worry about anybody, or you just build up a gap. Then you've got the shortstop strategy where you can pick up more time on track if there isn't a caution. And then you've got just splitting it in half. So that would be probably the safer option. You keep fresh tires as much as possible on the car. But then it's interesting to note, racing with these guys for most of the season, especially our Cup regulars, some guys have tendencies to lean one way or the other. So there's some guys that like to be aggressive and do the shortstop and just drive the wheels off the car. There's some guys that like to be conservative and take the halfway approach. I would expect to see Bryson Hickenbaugh take the more drastic approaches here. Expect to see him either go really long on this first set of tires, hoping for that caution, or shortstopping to try to get as much speed out of his fresh tires as possible.
Will be interesting to see. Probst still holding the lead over Costarellos. Kruger up to third. Chicano back to fourth there. Fastest truck on the track that last lap is at 63, ranging up on the back of this pack right here. Gonna give you the weekly segment of JCTV Turn It Up as we let you guys listen to the sights and sounds of the virtual Texas Motor Speedway and the iRacing sim. make sure you turn those volume dials back down before I blow your ears out. Welcome back to coverage of the camera go.
Ooh, he came back
spin in
just in
front.
time.
Costarello's turn. Zach Prost out of turn 2. We got a yellow, or no, excuse me, that wasn't Costarello's. That was Chicano in the 25. Turned Zach Prost from the lead out of turn 2. Came back at the perfect time.
Nope, that was Costarello's. So Costarello's right into the left rear quarter panel of the 62. Just spins him into the inside wall, backs it in there.
Ah, you know what, Cam? From that angle, it almost looks like the 62 might have got a little bit loose.
It's really an interesting accident right there, because each guy is probably going to feel a little bit of guilt there. So the 62 is going to feel like it's his fault, because really, from his wheel, he gets loose, spins down to the inside, and hits Costarello's. But Costarello's being right there on his back bumper probably had a lot to do with him getting loose in the first place. As we said, these trucks react very poorly to other trucks being right on top of them. So probably a lot of the aerodynamics playing a part right there with the 62 going around.
So we see, yeah, it looks like Zach Prost just kind of pitches the rear end around. And just the 15 truck really had nowhere to go but to get into him in the left rear. He tried to check up all that he could, but Zach was already pretty much starting to go around, and Jimmy just unfortunately finished him off right there. Well, I think that kind of takes the strategy out of it. We were getting ready to talk about that as we came back from the break, Cam, but pretty much every single driver on pit road right here.
And it looks like everybody's taking tires. As we were going to mention when we came back, most of these guys probably only had one set of tires left. So looks like everybody's taking that last set. We're going to lap 167 here, so it's just about 38 laps to go.
Kruger wins the race off pit road from Costarellos and Chicano. You'll see them there as they file off of pit road. Hixenbaugh coming out in 4th. Excuse me, no, Kruger stayed out. Costarellos won the race off pit
never
road.
pitted.
I'm not sure if Kruger is trying to bank on a later yellow. We'll see what he decides here. Costarellos winning the race off pit road. Chicano second. Hixenbaugh following 3rd off of pit road. Then you got a mix of some guys that are taking the lucky dog and waiver rounds mixed in here. Gwilt looks like he was your lucky dog under this yellow. Then
Well,
Princeton,
actually, the sad thing for a lot of these guys is since Kruger stayed out as the leader, they're not going to get a waiver round.
let's say, we'll take a look here. I'll have it quite pulled up on the broadcast. There we go. Yeah, he's going to trap quite a few of these guys a lap down. Who is that? Charlie Brown is one of them.
So we got Charlie Brown, Patrick Mush, and then Costarellos back here. So it's just two guys right here. I believe they're both scored just one lap down, but they're not going to get that wave around. They're going to have to let all the lead lap cars go around. Yeah. And Kruger's telling everybody. I wouldn't advise this, but he's keying the mic right now, telling everybody, yes, he's banking on that later caution, saving that last set of tires. Hopefully, we get a short run to the end, and he has the only fresh set on the track.
It's an interesting decision here from the 81 truck. Let's see how long he can actually maintain up here. I don't imagine, Cam, with 20 lap older tires in the rest of the field, that he'll be able to hang on for too long.
Well, the interesting thing is he's got 35 laps or so before the end of this race. And I don't really see him being off the pace enough to get lapped. So really, he's going to lose track position. He's going to fall from first probably down to, what do we got, 8 cars in lead lap. So he's probably going to go back to at least 6th, 7th, 8th place. And if a caution comes out, he's in the catbird seat really to get this victory with the only fresh set of tires on the track. So it's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it works out for him.
So I believe we'll see the lights go off the iRacing Mustang pace car right here. They do indeed. Kruger going to choose the bottom for this restart. Costarellos to his outside after, unfortunately, turning the 62. Looks like no real damage to the nose of that 15. He'll continue on. 25 of Chicano will line up third for this restart. Fourth on the outside of that second row there. Look at that 71 truck. Or, excuse me. The 63 to the outside is lining up fourth. That's Bryson Hicksonbaugh. Fifth, Alex Princeton. This yellow gets him back into the thick of it now that he is on the same strategy after getting displaced, having been off sequence there from the end of stage 1. So we also see a little bit of damage repair done on that 71 again. Joseph Lester has another shot to get back in the mix. Then the driver that just spun, Zach Probst, sitting 7th. Still not totally out of it just yet here in this race. Gonna get ready to go green here with 36 laps remaining in this truck race. 167 total laps. Get working lap 131. Gonna be working lap 132 when we go green. The pace car is going to make its left-hand turn down to pit road. There it goes. Releases the field into the hands of that 81 truck. Michael Kruger will get us fired back off. Here he goes. Green flag back in the air. Costarellos, again, not getting a great restart from second place, will slide just off the nose of the 25. Look at Chicano trying to make it almost 3 wide down into turn 1. Not going to make it happen, but look at that. Fresh tires, Cam, of Costarellos sliding right on by Michael Kruger.
That was a really good job there on the restart by Kruger. He kind of checked the field up behind him, did a really good job not spinning the tires on the restart. Really only falling back to 4th place with 20 lap older tires on the first lap. That's a big accomplishment. So it's a really good restart for him. Just trying to keep that thing clean, hope for this caution, and hope that it's not for him. As we see Lester getting loose behind him. Ooh, way up the hill. Just does keep it out of the wall. Not sure if he had a little bit of help from Princeton.
I believe, actually, he might have got the right front, a little more damage on it now. You see that tire's exposed as he comes by our camera right here. On the front stretch camera, we'll see a little more damage there on the 71. Unfortunate for his night. Back up front, Costarellos being hounded by your 2020 Truck Series champion. He's not done scoring points. Alonso Chicano really going after him. And Bryson Hicksonbaugh back in the picture now with that pit stop under yellow. Brought him right back into the fray.
Yeah, Alonso Chicano's had a really quiet night. He's been kind of hanging out in the back half of the top 10 most of the night, trying to keep that truck as clean as possible. He did get into the wall early, probably set himself back a little bit, wanted to just bide his time, but this is the moment he's been waiting for. He doesn't have to really worry about points, but he's still out here to try to win as many races as possible. Being the crowned champion of the series, but still not having the most wins is something that, he might actually be thinking about. He might think it's a little bit illegitimate, if you might. So he wants to come out here and prove himself. He's actually expressed interest in running select cup races next year, so he's definitely going to pad the resume if he wins some more races here before the end of the season. But he's going to yield to the 63.
It's a big lift there from Chicano.
There.
That's a good point. The 63 and the 25 are both on the same team here. I mean, Cam, at this point, Hicksonbaugh might have been just a little bit faster throughout the race. Why not let him go battle Costarellos and use his stuff up and give Chicano the chance to pass Costarellos easily and maybe get Hicksonbaugh just as well, or have Hicksonbaugh burn his stuff up?
Yeah, I feel like that's just Chicano telling Hicksonbaugh, I'm not going to be the guy to hold you up and keep you from winning this race. So it might have been orchestrated there to try to hang Costarellos out on the outside, but Chicano gave up a little bit too much ground, letting the 63 by. So he's going to have to, still going to make a difficult pass here on Costarellos. With all the swapping positions, though, it looks like 4th, 5th, and 6th place have caught up to him. So Zach
Tell you
Probst
what, take a look at that yellow truck. Probst has worked his way back into the picture. Princeton and Fryer coming along for the ride as well. The top 6 pretty much or excuse me, top 5 pretty much out here all by themselves. You get a lap truck in the mix here of Craig Fryer. He's your lucky dog holder currently, but he's kind of helping push Alex Princeton back into this battle. And we got the top 5 basically within 1 second of each other here, Cam, coming down toward the end of it.
Just taking a look here to see how much ground Michael Kruger has lost. So as the leaders are exiting turn 2, he's about to enter. He's in turn 1 right now. So he's about a corner behind him. Not losing too much. Probably doesn't have to worry about going a lap down. These guys' lap times are going to slow down a little bit here before the end of the race.
At what point does Michael Kruger need the yellow to come out to make his strategy work?
So with a green-white checkered's not going to be enough time. He's going to have to come from at least 8th, 9th place to make this thing happen. Probably about 10 to go would be perfect for him. So he could probably bank on passing 3-4 cars before they ever get back around to complete the first lap after a restart. But it's going to take him a little bit of time to get past some of these faster cars, even on older tires. They're going to put up more of a fight. So probably 10 to go. You get a restart with 6 or 5 to go would probably be perfect for him.
So we'll see if his strategy will pay off here. Still 26 remaining, 25 and a half as they work their way down the back straightaway. Cam, something interesting here is Chicano hasn't made the pass then on Jimmy Costarellos yet. Costarellos has really recovered and held his pace in second.
Yeah, it's a little interesting to see that Chicano might not be pressing that much right now. He might know in the back of his mind that, you know, this a little bit too early here to really be going all out. He's just going to try to hang with these guys, keep this draft, and maybe at the end of this run, he's got the best tires of the 3 of them and can capitalize on it.
Oh, the 71 of Lester out of shape right there. He's going a lap down. I think he's incurred more damage on that truck. He's barely hanging on to this thing. He nearly got Zach Probst right there as Probst went by to lap him.
Yeah, it looks like he's probably got a suspension issue on that truck. Probably knocked the toe out and it's not turning as well. Can't really keep it on the bottom on either end of the racetrack.
And he's got a battle right here because the 17 of Fryer is the guy he's battling for the lucky dog position. And Craig's going to look to get this pretty easily off of turn 1. Again, if we get another yellow, this will bring the 17 back into the race as well.
Yeah, probably a little bit too much of an uphill battle for Lester at this point. Tough break for him winning stage 1, running up front all night. Just not having the truck to compete here at the end, but interesting to mention there. If we do get a caution, your lucky dog is a 17, Craig Fryer. He's been up front all night. I don't believe that he did try to take the wave around there, so he might actually have another set of tires in the pits as well. So we could have 2 guys getting on the lead lap.
I have him being on pit road 5 times, Cam. I'm not sure how many of those 5 times he chose to take tires.
Okay, so he probably is out of tires.
I'd probably venture a guess that he is out of tires, yeah. So unfortunately, that's not quite something we can read yet. In iRacing telemetry, so we spectate sessions. I'm not sure that they'll ever allow us to do that. Same thing with throttle positions and such. As spectators and competition issues, trying to keep the competition nice and high, not able to get too much info on your competitors out there. Jimmy Costarello is still trying to hang on to the back tailgate of that 63 truck of Bryson Hicksonbaugh. He's pretty much the only one keeping pace. Chicano in what we believe to be similar equipment, right, Cam? And he's starting to fall away from these front 2s just a little bit.
Yeah, it may have something to do with the damage on the right side of that 25. The 63 looks to be the cleanest, might be the only completely clean truck on the track at the moment. Could be damage on Alonso's car, or as I mentioned earlier, could be just that Bryson's made better adjustments to that truck throughout the race. Obviously, the track temperature is going to change the handling of that car, so Bryson's usually really good about being on top of that. That could be making the difference here coming to the end.
So 4:48 local time in the sim. The track has definitely gone through some changes. We started this race with track temperature close to 90 degrees. It's already down to 82. So as the track gets cooler, the speeds go up. These guys use just that little bit more tire. But I'm still so impressed here that the 15 of Costarellos, even maybe with a little bit of nose damage, can't quite tell on my end here, but he's keeping pace with this 63. I mean, at this point, Cam, is he waiting to make his move? And if so, what do you think will be the right time for him to make that move for the win?
The smart thing for him to do right here is to just ride in the draft with Hicksonball. You know, do as much as he possibly can to save tire. Probably got to run pretty hard just to stay with him at this point. Obviously, Bryson's got the clean air, but the draft is going to help Jimmy on the straightaways, suck him back up to him. And if he can keep him within striking distance, and Bryson does run off a little bit more tire, he can make that lunge there at the end. So that's probably the case. I wouldn't want to be the guy out front right now doing all the mirror driving. Probably best seat in the house right now if you want to be the winner is right there where Jimmy Costarellos is.
Inside of 20 to go, actually working 17 to go, coming to 16 to go as they cross the line. Your leader still Bryson Hicksonball. Costarellos peeking his nose just a little bit, not quite getting the run to make the move. But as Cam stated, may not be the time to go just yet. Chicano following in third here. And then back to Zach Probst in the 62, still holding off the 9 of Alex Princeton back here. And I'll tell you what, Craig Fryer really being maybe a good teammate. I'm not even sure if these guys are on the same team, the 9 of Princeton and the 17 of Fryer. But Fryer's keeping Princeton up here in the battle with Probst.
Another interesting thing about this track, since it's different on both ends, with your setup, you're going to basically be better in one corner than you are the other. And from what I'm seeing right now with this battle for the lead, it looks like Costarellos is a lot better than Bryson Hicksonball, carrying speed through 1 and 2. But Hicksonball gets the advantage in 3 and 4. Jimmy's a smart guy. He's probably noted that throughout the race. So if you're going to see a pass for the leads, probably going to happen coming down off of the quad oval into turn 1 is where he's going to try to make that move.
Still Costarello stalking in the mirror. Cam, how much does that affect you as the lead driver, say Bryson Hicksonball, just seeing that 15 truck stalking your mirror the entire time through this final stint of the race?
Well, really, it's the difference between closers and guys that don't get a lot of wins. So if you want to win races, you got to lead laps. So if you can't handle somebody filling your mirror up the whole time, you're probably going to choke away a lot of wins. Probably not going to be able to get the job done that much. Bryson Hicksonball, definitely a guy that we've seen win a lot in the Galaxy Cup Series. He's got nerves of steel in that race car. Doesn't really worry himself too much about what the competition's doing. He just does the best that he can. So it actually looks like Costarellos has fallen off of him here.
I was going to say, like 2 laps ago right there. 2 laps ago, I saw the same thing. Costarellos kind of slid his exit at turn 2. I mean, how much can something so subtle like that, Cam, hurt Costarellos at this point? With 12 to go, he's starting to fall away from our leader.
Well, it could definitely hurt tires, heat them up. The more you slide the tire, they're going to heat up. It's just going to lead to you sliding even more. So when those tires get angry at you, you got to take care of them. But, you know, here with only, I believe, 11 laps to go, you can't really afford to cool the tires off because Hicksonball will just drive away from you. So he's got to stay on the attack here. He's going to have his hands full if those tires are getting too heated. Could also be a little bit of a mental thing. So he sees the 63, he sees the guy that he's got to get, and he might be overdriving the car a little bit. And that slide could kind of eat away at his confidence here going into the last few laps. So as I say that, Costarellos again gets a little bit better run through 1 and 2. Higginbaugh doesn't really get away from him in 3 and 4 though.
Last time by, Costarellos was just marginally, I think 5/100ths of a second quicker than Higginbaugh. So starting to eat away at that gap just a little bit. Inside 10 to go, now 9. Coming to 8 to go as these guys cross the line. And this is that crossover point that Cam mentioned earlier where Michael Kruger, who stayed out on his older tires, really needs that yellow. He's on 50-lap old tires compared to these guys being on 30-lap old tires. It'd be a real big difference if he could catch that break. But right now, looking at it around the track, not too many guys are close to each other. We see Costarellos kind of slide right there out of turn 2 as well. Once again, he gives up a little bit of time to Higginbaugh.
Yeah, so Costarellos is in a bit of a catch-22 here, so he's got to get up on the wheel, get back to that bumper, the 63. That's his only chance to win this race, but the harder you drive, the more you're going to use it up. So really, he might have one lap where he really gets it, he sends it in there and it sticks, and he makes up a lot of ground, but then the next time he goes into that corner, he's going to slide and give up a lot.
We're 33 laps into these guys' stint. Oh, Costarellos really up the racetrack. This is going to cost him a lot of time off of turn 4. He'll give up even more time to the leader, but 33 laps on these tires now, Cam. I mean, off-throttle time has really got to be playing a factor to these guys so late in this run.
Especially in 1 and 2, that's where you're going to see guys really off the throttle. 3 and 4, I think they're kind of feathering it a little bit, maybe a little lift in the middle, but they're mostly full throttle still through 3 and 4. And again, that off throttle time is where Jimmy Costarellos is getting his advantage. So that time, Costarellos about 100th quicker.
So 5 to go now as they cross the line. I don't think 1/100th of a second though is going to cut it. Costarellos nearly scraping the wall off of turn 2. Unfortunately, again, is not giving him a lot of time, but he is sure giving it everything he's got here in these final 5 laps. I just don't know, Cam, that he has enough now, especially after that slide, to get back to that leader.
No, I think that one's the one that did it in.
Michael Kruger having to make his pit stop. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to catch his yellow, and he actually didn't have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. So we see him come down pit road, battle back up front between Higginbaugh and Costarellos. Higginbaugh starting to work a little bit of traffic. Costarellos, unfortunately, still not making the ground he needs to get back toward that leader.
It was a really smart strategy that Kruger had. It just didn't pan out for him, and they're not all going to. But really impressed with, just the wherewithal to say, I'm going to run out here on these 50-lap old tires. You guys go get the fresh ones. I'm going to expect to be the only guy on good tires here at the end. A good decision that just didn't work out. If the caution does come out here, he looks like a genius. He's wearing the dunce hat right now, but don't be afraid to make those kind of decisions in other races.
I definitely like the aggressiveness in the call on that 81 pit box. Unfortunately, just not panning out for him tonight. Inside of 2 laps remaining now. Higginbaugh starting to extend his advantage just that little bit more. It's up to 7/10 now over Costarellos. Jimmy's still trying to struggle back, but definitely if he needs to make over 3.5 tenths each lap here, now he's got to close the gap of 8 tenths here in 1 lap. I just don't see that happening unless Higginbaugh has a problem.
Yeah, Higginbaugh taking the white flag here, going down into turn 1. Really big advantage, can just hit his marks here. Don't make any mistakes. Easily off of turn 2. Gonna ease the car down here into turn 3.
So dominant in the Cup Series is Bryson Higginbaugh. Unfortunately, it has not been the case in the Truck Series until tonight. Bryson Higginbaugh in the 63, your winner of the Cameron Caldwell Graphics 250 at Texas after 167 laps. He finally gets that first truck win of 2020. Jimmy Costarellos bringing it home in second. We look to third place, Alonso Chicano ahead of Alex Princeton in the 9. Zach Probst falling to Princeton there at the line. Probst bringing home the top 5 finish. Joe Gwilt sticking it out. Will get across the line for 6th. Craig Fryer, the first car, 1 lap down. Brings it home 7th. Ryan McDaniel 8th. Michael Kruger, after his strategy call, unfortunately didn't pan out. He finishes 9th. Carl Felver rounds out your top 10. Cam, your teammate did it. Bryson Hicksonball finally getting that truck win that he needed in this year's series.
Yeah, we see Bryson coming up here to light him up on the front stretch. His first victory burnouts here in the Galaxy Truck Series, so I can't hold that one over him anymore. 13 wins in the Cup Series. Gets his first victory here in the trucks. That makes him a 14-time winner in the Galaxy Racing universe. Really dominant truck all night. Put it on the pole, and when he did get out front, nobody could really do much with him.
So as we get set for post-race interviews coming up here on JCTV, that's going to do it from the in-race coverage. Go ahead and hit some replays here and get you ready for post-race interviews with our top 5 coming up here on the other side of the break. This is Cam Stone and Eric Wineland on JCTV. And congratulations to Bryson Hicksonball winning tonight's CCG 250.
All right.
Welcome back to post-race coverage here on JCTV of tonight's Cameron Caldwell Graphics 250, concluded here at the virtual Texas Motor Speedway in the Galaxy Truck Series Racing League. Saw Bryson Hicksonball take his maiden win in the Truck Series after being so dominant and over on the Cup side of things, as he hopes to be dominant tomorrow night at Texas. But we'll get a chance to catch up with our top 5 finishers. Cameron Stone, you're going to lead us off with our 5th place finisher, Zach Probst.
Hey, Zach Probst, Cam Stone in the JCTV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, Zach, really good run for you tonight, finishing 5th. How much did you learn tonight that you can take into tomorrow's race, try to advance yourself into the round of 4?
Tonight I was really focusing on saving tires. I was learning the lines that I need to take, and I learned how to defend on the backstretch. Just take the bottom. And they can't pass on the outside here, so they won't be able to pass.
So yeah, we did see a lot of blocking happening on the backstretch. Really was the whole race tonight just about blocking and aero?
Yeah, the outside line is useless here. So if you can just hold the bottom without them getting their nose underneath you, you can defend pretty easily.
So tonight was a really good run for you. You were up front the entire time. Looked like you probably had a bead on the win there for a little while until you and Costarellos tangled off of turn 2. What have you seen any replays of that? What happened over there?
That was the first thing I went to check after the race. It looked like I got loose. He thought I was going to go up to the wall, but I couldn't. So I'd probably say 50-50. I got loose. He came up a little bit, but if he checked up at all, he was going to get plowed.
Yeah, it just looked like really tough racing incident. Maybe a little bit of aero involved there as well. So, gonna let you go here, but before we do, who gets it done for you?
I'd like to thank Joseph Lester for the setup, and that was a really good run he had until he hit the wall. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, so thanking Joseph Lester, who also had a really good run tonight. Sadly, didn't get the result he probably deserved. All right, well, Zach, thank you. Good run tonight. We'll see you on track next week. All right, so we're going to get our 4th place finisher. Eric, you got Alex Princeton.
Yeah, I got Alex here. Alex battled through a lot of adversity there. We saw you get off sequence there at the end of stage 1. You get back to 4th place. Just walk us through how you were able to get through all the mess of pit strategy and get yourself back into the game.
Yeah, I got really lucky. Got lucky on the way the first stage ended. Got through that wreck, and then I was off sequence on tires. I was trying to save a set for the end, so I didn't want to pit and shorted myself on fuel. Wasn't even thinking about it, and got lucky to get back up there. Had a great battle with Zach, and it's nice to take a second last week and 4th this week and get a little momentum for next year.
So yeah, you're building a lot of momentum on these 1.5 miles, and it really culminated there at the end. You were able to work Zach Probst there through that final stage and get on by him. Just walk us through how you set up that last pass there on that final run to ultimately take 4th place.
Yeah, once I realized I was way too tight to run with Bryson and Jimmy and Alonso, I just kind of held back, let Zach build on the lead, and let him wear his tires out a little bit, and then ended up catching him there at the end. Got to work on loosening car up a little bit more, truck up a little bit more. Still get a little too tight towards the end of the run.
All right, so as he mentioned, second last week at Kansas. Unfortunately, JCTV wasn't able to bring that one to you fans out there, but a 4th place finish tonight as well. How do you build on this momentum now as you stare at the paperclip next week at Martinsville?
I've usually had pretty good luck there, so I'm hoping that continues. Just gotta hope for the best, I guess.
Alrighty, well, before I let you go, Alex, anyone you'd like to thank who helps you get it done week in and week out here on this 9 team?
Yeah, I just gotta thank the local John Deere dealership and Caribou Coffee and all them for helping me out and keeping me going.
Alrighty, well, that is the driver of the number 9, Alex Princeton, with a 4th place run tonight, getting past Zach Probst late to score a 4th place finish. Try to ride his wave of momentum heading on to Martinsville. So that does it there. Cam, I believe you have caught up with the 2020 Galaxy Truck Series champion-elect. Once the season fully finishes, he'll be the official champion. But Cam, you've got Alonso Chicano.
All right, champ. This is Cam Stone up in the JCTV booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Looked like you had a little bit of trouble early in the race tonight. Saw you get into the wall in the first stage. Kind of looked like you were just kind of pacing yourself until the last stage to try and go for the win. Would that be correct?
That would be correct. Yeah, I was really trying to conserve my car. Yeah, I did get into the wall, so I made a few mistakes, but thankfully nothing that hurt the truck too much. We were able to get that fixed. But yeah, just being really, really conservative because we knew it was going to be a long race. We weren't going to make it on fuel for either of the stage cautions, so I elected to I didn't even take any tires for like the whole first stage and try to just save one for the end. Didn't really end up needing it, but you never know with these races when you can get a late caution and you do need it, and then you're out of luck. So I was just trying to save my truck enough just so I had you know uh, I was in position to compete for the win in the end.
So I know from being in the building over there at HRD, you and Bryson and the rest of the team over there usually run about the same setups week in and week out. Was there anything different that with your car than there was from Bryson's? I saw that short run you were kind of there with him, but on the long run he just kind of gapped away.
There wasn't anything too different that would have made that big of a difference. I think what happened was like in other runs prior to the last one, I was able to save my tires a lot more. When you had a lot more people there drafting with you, I was able to lift a lot more into the corner, and then just wait for the other guys to burn up their stuff, and then I could either pass them or just kind of stick with them. But during the end there, it was only really three of us going for it hard, and being the third place car, I don't know if it was the draft that the dirty air was making me use up my tires more or what, but um, I was really had to push to stick with them, and eventually I wasn't on their bumper anymore, and Jimmy was able to stick with B Hicks throughout the whole run. So something about just being the third place truck there didn't do me any good, I guess, and didn't really have too many other trucks so I can depend on for their draft and kind of take it easy.
So as we covered earlier, you locked up the championship after the Roval. So you've been kind of stress-free racing the last couple of weeks, and with 2 more race weekends to go, don't really have to worry about points. Are Martinsville and Phoenix 2 races you're looking forward to, or you just trying to do the best you can to keep this momentum going into next year?
I do think they are still important races, even though the season is technically over for me as far as points go. I'm still looking forward to them. I still want to do good. It lets me do things where like for example today, if I didn't have the points locked up, I would have cared more about stage points and being there up front, running throughout the whole race. But it lets me, be able to take it easy early on and really conserve a lot more, so that way I can get a head full of steam in the end.
I got you. All right. Before we let you go here, who do you need to thank? Who helps you get it done week in and week out?
I'd like to thank all the guys in the shop. Of course, they're always helping me out every single day, working together and getting some fast trucks. So I'd like to thank them. I like to, as always, thank my girlfriend for supporting me. And yeah, just I like to thank the booth. I'm sure you guys did a wonderful job. I'll be checking it out later on. And thanks to everyone who's able to put this show on.
All right. Well, thank you, Alonzo Chicano, your third place finisher and champion for the 2020 Galaxy Truck Series. I'll see you on track next week when I climb back in.
All right, sounds good. I'll see you.
All right. So next one, we've got Jimmy Costarellos. Ran a really good race, finished second. I believe Eric's caught up with him.
Yes, I have, Cam. Jimmy just couldn't quite close it out in that final stage. Bryson got the best of you there late. Just answer me first. How hard were you pushing in those final 10 laps? We saw the back end of that truck really hanging out.
Yeah, I was pushing it pretty hard, but unfortunately, turn 3 and 4, the easiest one, was my kryptonite. Bryson could, put the throttle down and hold it throughout the corner, and I couldn't. I had to check up, so I kept on losing a tenth on that corner. I'd gain a tenth, maybe two on a good lap, and 1 and 2, but it just kind of evened out.
So, do you feel like potentially any damage you maybe had on the hood? We saw you tangle with Zach Probst there late in the race. You feel like that had any effect on your chances to win tonight?
To be honest, I really don't think we had that much damage. When I made my pit stop, I didn't really have to repair anything. I think our setup was just a little bit off. We just needed a little bit more rear grip. I might have ran the rears off a little too early in the in the run there, but just doing what I can to keep up with Bryson. Happy with a second place finish, of course, but would have really loved to get that win.
So second place here tonight. Gonna look forward to the Paperclip Martinsville Speedway next week. How do you feel with a driver on the team of SPR? How do you guys feel about your short track program? Are you excited for next week?
I can't speak for the team, but I can say I'm pretty good at Martinsville. Cam talks a pretty big game about Martinsville, so I'm gonna have to show him what it's about.
Alrighty, well, before I let you get out of here and before Cam goes nuts on you here in the booth, anyone you'd like to thank for your second place run tonight here in that 15 truck?
Yeah, of course, you guys, the broadcast booth, the admins, Rich Petrugo, SPR, all my teammates, Joey King, Dan, helping spotting for me later on in that race, and Andrew Shardner. So couldn't do it without those guys, and we'll come back bigger and better for next week.
Alrighty, well, that's the driver of the 15 truck, Jimmy Costarellos. Looking forward to the battle he's going to get with my broadcast partner here, Cam Stone, next week at Martinsville. 200 laps here on JCTV next week. But before we look ahead, let's go ahead and bring in our winner. Cam, I believe you've caught up with the driver of that 63 truck, Bryson Hixenbaugh.
Hey, Bryson, it's Cam in the booth. Get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, Bryson, got your first win in the Truck Series. So how does it feel to be the winningest driver in Cup and also get off the schneid here in the Truck Series?
It feels pretty good. I haven't run a whole lot of trucks, but had something happen each race. Take it out. One of them was me. I think one of them was you, and there might have been something else in there. But it feels good to get the win here. Wanted to get one this season, and it worked out in my last race.
So we saw at the end of, I believe it was stage 1, or it might have been that caution at around lap 20. Went down pit road from like third place and just kind of sat there for the whole lap. Were you messing with your graphics settings or something? I know you've been dealing with the problem with that.
No, I came down to get fuel just so I'd be able to make it to the end of the stage, but I wasn't planning to take tires just so I could have enough at the end. The tire limits were pretty strict this week, and I didn't think it'd be wise to waste one that early, so I came down, took fuel, and then didn't want to restart at the front with old tires in front of everybody.
All right, so moving on from this week, we got 2 more races for the Truck Series. We're going to go to Martinsville next week, and then your home track of Phoenix. Should we be expecting to see you on track for either of those?
Do not expect it. I'll be too busy Phoenix week preparing to kick your ass in the Cup Series.
Okay.
And Martinsville week, I do not want to get PTSD right before 500 laps in Martinsville.
Definitely understood. All right, so before we let you go here, any sponsors you want to thank, teammates?
I'd like to thank Lawless Root Beer for coming on for my last race of the season here. They're planning on sponsoring one race in Cup next season. Glad I got them a win in their debut for trucks.
Gotta love it when you get the NASCAR 2005 boys involved. All right, congrats on the win, Bryson. I will see you tomorrow night, and hopefully you won't be the one doing the ass kicking at Phoenix.
We'll see about that, kid. Thanks for having me.
All right, so that's Bryson Hixenbaugh getting his first Truck Series win, 14 overall in the Galaxy universe. Eric, what are your takeaways from tonight's race?
That's what I was getting ready to ask you, Cam, but I mean, wow. Hixenbaugh just continues to impress that he is one of the best in the entire Galaxy series, both Truck and Cup. I mean, there's a reason the man's got 13 wins in the Cup series, so he proves it yet again here tonight in the Truck series. But I'll be equally, if not more, impressed with the second place run from Jimmy Costarellos, really showing that there's a lot of talent inside that 15 truck. And if he gets that break to run the Cup Series, I really think he can take a challenge to Bryson Hixenbaugh.
I definitely think Jimmy's got a lot of speed. There's a lot of talent there on that team. So he's probably going to be looking at running a full season next year with SPR in the Cup Series. Look forward to see what he could do, take the fight to Bryson and to you and me as well.
As always, well, to clean up the race finish here for you, Bryson Hixenbaugh, your winner by 1.0 0.07 seconds over Jimmy Costarellis in second. We talked to Chicano in third, Alex Princeton in fourth, and Zach Probst in fifth. Sixth tonight was Joe Gwilt. Seventh for Craig Fryer. Ended up being the first truck, one lap down. Ryan McDaniel fights back to an eighth place finish. Michael Kruger, who we saw had the strategy call. I really like the aggressiveness from that 81 truck. Just unfortunately did not pan out for him. He finishes ninth, 2 laps down. 4 laps down for Carl Felver in 10th. Charlie Brown, Ashton Hartman, Joseph Lester, Ricky Paz, and Patrick Mouche fight back to top 15 finishes for those guys. Unfortunately, Mouche and on down here, these guys retired from the race. 16th for Alan Hewitt. Josh Coppernell, the mastermind behind JCTV, unfortunately not the Truck Series race he wanted tonight, finishes 17th. 18th for Nick Stein, his return to the Galaxy Series. 19th for Cody Bird. 20th for Rich Petrucco, getting caught up in that wreck there at the end of stage 1. 21st for Brian Branham, not the points night he was looking for to try to continue to battle for that third position in points. Dan Fields in the 66 finishes 22nd. Anthony Campbell in the 73, 23rd. We saw him having some battles tonight. And 24th, rounding out your field, Logan Slavosky. Unfortunately, was not able to take the green flag after qualifying tonight. Cam, that Texas race was pretty interesting. A lot of big stakes in the largest state. But I'm definitely looking forward to next week when these trucks get to go 200 laps around the Martinsville Paperclip.
That's definitely the race I've had circled on the calendar all season. Martinsville's my home track. I've been fairly successful there. Won the first Galaxy race at Martinsville back in the spring. So looking forward to getting back in the truck and racing with these guys, putting in 700 laps at Martinsville 2 consecutive nights.
So walk me through, why is this one circled on your calendar? Why will we see you in the truck next week?
Oh, it's just short track racing is what brought me into NASCAR. Loved going to the little short tracks in the community. Back when I was a kid, got me into it watching late model races. One of the biggest ones happens at at Martinsville. Every year, it's the biggest late model race basically in America. So definitely spent a lot of time going to the track in person. I live maybe 30 minutes away from it, and I've just always kind of had a knack for getting around that place. So really looking forward to getting back to it.
What makes it so different from a place like Bristol, where we saw Chicano win last time out in a short track in the Galaxy Truck Series?
Well, at Bristol, there's so much banking at that track. You can carry so much momentum through the corners. There's not a lot of heavy braking going on. Martinsville's the exact opposite of that. So longer straightaways, tighter turns, very little banking, lots of heavy braking. It's about as rhythm of a racetrack as you can get. So, one mistake and your whole night could be over, and you could take out 3 or 4 people with you just getting on the brakes a little bit too hard. So Martinsville's definitely big focus racetrack, cutting down on the mistakes, and you don't always have to be the fastest car to win.
So that gives us a good summation as we head to next week, but we also look forward. These truckers only have 2 races remaining on the schedule now, with Phoenix looming overhead beyond Martinsville. Talk me through a lot of these. There's a couple guys here still fighting for some glory here around the 3rd place position in points. How much do these last 2 races mean to drivers like Alex Prince and Andrew Schartner and Joseph Lester? Those guys still taking truck points.
So you've got those guys that have definitely put in a lot of time into this series, making setups, running practice laps. They're not going to be able to come away with the championship, but ending the season with a win would be a big momentum boost for those guys, not only to carry momentum into next truck season, but to maybe get a shot on a cup team as well. So those guys are definitely going to be aggressive to try to go get some of these wins here to close out the season.
Alrighty, well, that's going to do it for post-race coverage here on JCTV of the Cameron Caldwell Graphics 250 from the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. Don't forget, you can check out the Galaxy Cup Series running tomorrow night at Texas for their 500-mile race on 3YTV here on YouTube. Make sure you check out that channel for the race tomorrow. Second race of the round of 8, where drivers like my partner here, Cam Stone, look to get themselves locked in for the Championship 4 moving forward through the season. Catch us at the same time next week here on JCTV for 200 laps for the Galaxy Truck Series here from Martinsville. Next week, look to the paperclip. And then one race remains, Phoenix, in 2 weeks' time as well for those guys. Going to be an interesting end to the season here. From the Galaxy Truck Series admins, Cam Stone, my broadcast partner, I'm Eric Wineland saying thank you for tuning in tonight here on JCTV for the CCG 250. We'll say good night from the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. We will see you in 1 week's time at Martinsville.